First game of the year.
Right.
First game in several weeks.
First game in several weeks.
Ready.
First game of the year. We are back. This is Star Trek Europa. I am your host, as always, Studio Tembo. Let's go ahead and do it. We are down one player for this session. Evelyn is not gone. She is not forgotten. She is just sick and could not manage. We also missed a couple sessions over the break. We had a break partially because Brian fortunately survived COVID, but almost didn't, from what it sounded like. It was pretty rough. So let's go do introductions. Go ahead and start with Brian.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Ensign Elizabeth Hage, amongst other characters. The only thing I want to plug is Rode microphone arms. They're the best.
Yeah, Rode. It's just Rode. It's an Australian company. And
Well,
if they send me one of these for free, we can talk about them more in the future. But until they do, that is as much as they get from me.
All right, sounds good.
Kendall, go ahead. This is also a Rode microphone too. So just, everything I own is theirs. But go ahead, Kendall.
Hi, I'm Kendall. I'm Kendall the Elemental on TikTok, and I will be playing, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. What are my characters' names again? Commander Eleanor Brooks, amongst others, today.
Brooks,
Rare form today. We are ready to go.
Oh, it has
sorry.
been a while.
I breathe in smoke.
Yeah. No,
Let me live. My brain is foggy.
Yeah. So survived a fire today too. So some excuse is warranted.
Yes, that's the excuse I'm using today.
Yes.
This time.
My excuse for today is that it has been weeks and I'm tired. Jack, go ahead.
Yes, hello, everybody. I am Jack. You might know me from my own channel, RPGs Uncovered. You can find that on Twitch, on YouTube, on almost all of the social medias. I'm still tracking down all of the new ones that keep popping up. But anywhere you can find good TTRPG entertainment or discourse, you can usually find me and RPGs Uncovered. It's been a while. It's the first game of the year. I'm super excited for it. I have my own things going on. Not only am I here on Tuesdays for this, every Monday, you can find me over at twitch.tv/Tales from the Table Studio, over with my good friend Lion, playing A Crumbling Foundation, an SCP actual play, which has been an absolutely fantastic time. We're only 5 episodes in, but it has been an incredible story so far. So we are getting back to that next week. Come hang out with us that's every Monday at 8 p.m. EST, twitch.tv/Tales from the Table Studios. And you can find me getting back to my regularly scheduled content and season 4 of RPGs Uncovered featuring Cyber Rats, starting on January 21st. That is a Saturday this time, January 21st at 4 p.m. EST. Cyber Rats is a sort of Shadowrun meets and it's been so long since I've given a spiel. Shadowrun meets XCOM, smashed together with all that nasty crunch taken out of it. So it's going to be a good time. I'm going to show you guys how to play the game. We're going to do a demo play miniseries, all that good stuff. And even more coming throughout this next year. But for now, I'm here in Star Trek Europa, mostly tonight playing Captain Irani Ambrose, but we'll see who else gets involved. And I am ready to go save my Romulan princess.
All right. I am your host, as always, Dr. RPG Jeff Harvey. It's a term I haven't used in a while, but it came out. You can find me all the places at Studio Tembo. The only thing I've got going on is this show at the moment. There may be some other shows coming up in the near future. There are more episodes on Studio Tembo of Continuing Conversations coming up. We just hit our 1-year anniversary of that show. We've gone over a little bit by that. There are a couple episodes that are way back, way before it was even before I was even involved that are getting remastered right now. Those are going to be up shortly. And I will be back on air with those guys occasionally, sometimes possibly more than occasionally, but starting next week, I think actually we start recording episodes that I will be hosting again. Other than that, though, there's more to come, obviously, once time allows. This episode, though, we are mid combat or just beginning in the combat of the mid rescue of Toshari. We don't have anyone with any notes from the previous sessions, I don't think. So I think we could just do a real quick recap of what happened last time, which is there was some discussion as far as what was going to happen this session, as far as the plan I don't remember if we had any backstage stuff with the counselor. I don't think the counselor / XO did any deep dives in anybody last session. But there was a conversation between Ambrose and
Beth.
That had been long overdue. And that was a good one. Obviously, you can go back and check out the previous episode. Normally,
I
we
believe
do have recaps, but we didn't do it good this time. So
I can do a little recap.
Yeah,
I've gotten back into the headspace. So last month, whenever it was we had last played this game, we started out previously on Star Trek Europa. We started out with conversations with all of these people we were trying to bring into this plan. We talked to Mendek. We talked to Mendek, Admiral Mendek of the Romulan Star Empire, who is opposed to Proconsul Sela.
Yes.
Talked to him, relayed the information that he had a whole fleet over in Romulan space somewhere that needed new management. Shrug, nudge, nudge. So we gave him that information, sent him on his way, and said, hey, it'd be super helpful if you were in this general area during, sometime something's going to happen in the near future. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, sent him on his way. Ambrose also talked to Ambassador Worf, trying to make sure that cooler Klingon heads prevailed, and might be getting him or some Klingon resource involved in this upcoming plan. Then there was a brief transmission sent off to Admiral Aralani while we were zipping out of the system. We sat down at the conference table, the conference room, with everybody and hashed out this plan, which you can see in the background here in Technicolor goodness. I believe there was a short conversation between our new executive officer, Commander Eleanor Brooks, and Captain Ambrose about what to do with the GISA problem. But I don't think any of that has been implemented yet.
I don't remember anything.
I don't think so. No.
Maybe we didn't have that conversation.
Not yet. We're intending to have that conversation.
Okay.
I think it's on the list.
The last thing that happened with GISA was the one fighter crashed, and there was all that.
Was that? Okay.
And then GISA, we had not gotten to GISA's discussion with the first officer yet.
Okay. Yes. So then we got to the nebula. All the people were talked to. We hid out in the nebula. GISA went out with her wings, set all of the different tachyon emitters where they needed to be. In doing so, everyone's new favorite hotshot pilot, Hotjaw, was injured during one of the tachyon net deployments. Barely saved his life despite all of the best intervention I could muster. Did manage to save his life, and GISA kind of lost it for a little bit because she really doesn't like losing people. There was a very sweet scene between GISA and her kind of sort of girlfriend, Delphine. That was a quite nice heart to heart, and we saw some good development there, and a little more insight into both of them. And
that was basically it.
I think that was about it. There was a short conversation between Ambrose and somebody. I think it was Dasavi.
I don't remember.
Because then at some point Ambrose went to engineering and was looking at the tachyon nets, and he got some vision and passed out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was that vision again? You remember?
It was mostly just to help me, I think.
Right. Yeah. So then I went to Med Bay and started talking to Dasavi about that. And she was like, it might not be best for you to go out on a mission when you just randomly pass out and start having visions. And then red alert sounded and I left.
Right. Which is where we're going to pick up with, we're going to actually start, just rewind it a little bit. And we're back on the bridge.
It's also where Tana took her toe tags.
Yes. Yes. I do remember that. Thinking ahead. So let's start with on the bridge, shortly before the red alert starts. Commander Baker, right? Brooks. Sorry, I don't know why I got Baker. Commander Brooks is in charge. You are getting ready to set up everyone's setting up all the crews are getting their things in order. On the bridge, there's a definitive tension. It's quiet, except for the standard beeping and the occasional muffled conversations between people. But it's very sullen on the bridge. Everyone expecting things to be kind of bad. You're getting back your telemetry on the 4 primary probes that are out, the buoys that are out. Those of you who are looking at this online live can see the little map we've got here. Those of you listening in audio, just, theater of the mind this. The 4 buoys that are there, and there's additional 4 buoys at the backside of the nebula. You're getting all your telemetry back. Everything appears to be working just fine. After a few minutes of increased tension, 3 large warbirds and 2 Romulan scouts decloak after a ping from one of the buoys ripples through, and you can see the person sitting at the op station. Commander Brooks, it appears that the Romulans are here. I'm detecting strange energy readings. 5 ships decloaking. 5 ships decloaking. Yes, they're beginning to make a turn towards the nebula. They're on their way, and that is where you get to say red alert if you want to.
Shields up, red alert.
All right. Let's quickly jump into the opening credits, and then we'll come back with the episode. All right. Can I access these guys? I sure can, but only one at a time. So the Romulan Warbirds are beginning to move into the nebula at the various rendezvous point, except for the 2 scout shuttles, which promptly leave the system. There's some communication between the larger ships and the smaller ones. You were not able to intercept that communication due to the difficulties provided by the nebula and the surrounding harsh space, but they both left and headed presumably back towards deeper Romulan space, probably going to get, some assistance, or possibly going around this system and trying to figure things out. But the 3 warbirds begin to head deeper into the system, breaching into the nebula, where it is difficult to detect them. You still can obviously detect them because you knew they were coming. But the nebula has decreased navigation, decreased sensors, and decreased weapon or increased navigation difficulty, increased sensor difficulty, and increased weapon difficulty. Where do you guys want to start? Ambrose was heading.
I remember we had picked out an away team. Is that the people on the right there?
Yeah, it's that cluster.
I believe that plus Ambrose.
Mm-hmm. He has to be there to save his girlfriend.
Right.
Was Tong coming on
Tong
this one?
was planned to stay on the shuttlecraft because someone had to manage transport.
He's our beam expert.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So the actual transporting over is just Ambrose, Jisa, or no, Jisa's piloting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going. She's going, but not going. Mills, Yezabeth, and is that Tana?
Yes. Hold on a sec.
Since Ev isn't here, do we want to keep Mills or do we want to leave her back and just throw in some red shirts?
I was going to send Mills as a red shirt, basically. So,
okay. I
was going to have her probably, possibly get injured. I don't know.
Sorry, future Ev. I tried to save you.
Or stay aboard the shuttlecraft, something like that. But, she's got to die to prove the situation is serious. So, it makes more sense for her to go, even if she's not able to. Just for the sake of continuity of story, she should go.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to take a red shirt or two, you can. But
I don't think we need to.
I don't think so.
Personally.
Although, just as a rules discussion, isn't there a rule that allows you to shift damage to a red shirt? Isn't that how the evasive avoid damage actually works?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the only way avoid injury actually works, but it is one thing you can do with avoiding an injury.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like having red shirts along because it allows you to kill somebody and up the stakes and seriousness without that being one of us.
Yes. Yeah. All right. But sans all that, let's go ahead and decide where you guys want to start. What do you guys want to do?
Unless you or anybody else has any buildup, I'd say we just start with the away team in the shuttle getting ready to beam over.
All right. Let's move them over here a little bit. And then these two, Jisa and Tong, can be signed over here. And then on the ship, we've got, on Europa, we've still got Silva is piloting, I think. Blue Man Group, whose name I can't remember right now. Kostra is the tactical officer currently. And then obviously any other characters that fit in there can. All right. So you beam over to the shuttlecraft. Shuttlecraft begins maneuvers. You do have 4 momentum currently, but let's go ahead and have a maneuvering roll to attempt to gain additional momentum. So this difficulty is going to be 4 because of the increased difficulty for the nebula's movement, right? +2 to navigation. That's correct.
Sure.
And go ahead.
Okay, so this is Jisa.
Yep.
Control Khan, I would assume. Complication range.
Standard complication for the moment.
Okay. I don't believe any of her focuses apply. I wouldn't really call this necessarily fighter craft maneuvers.
Mm.
And while I do think this has something to do with evasive action, it is not combat related, and therefore I don't think my talent really applies.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's just for attacks. Okay. I assume are we getting assisted by the shuttle?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoever wants to roll for that. I don't know if that's even in the system. I think it's in the system.
Actually, Jisa's going to look over. I don't think she's going to look over at anyone. She's just going to turn her chin a little bit and direct over her shoulder. I need some help. I need somebody to give me a clear understanding of what's going on in this soup.
Yezabeth will face the wall of Elkar's displays, and she'll bang her fingers on a couple things, trying. Boy, this nebula is as interfering with us as it is them. I'll give it my best shot. Here's the shuttle.
No help from the shuttle. Elizabeth can assist, and so can and the ship can assist. So, or the ship already assisted. So go ahead and make your roll, and Elizabeth can assist.
All right, just make sure I'm going in the right direction. I'll make sure we don't hit anything.
I would say piloting in this soup, as you called it, would either be daring or control.
Okay. Yeah, I've established that we're mostly blind, so I'll go daring. That sounds more fun. Go ahead and take a momentum. I'll throw 3 dice. And we need 4 to succeed. I don't think this is a momentum generating roll here.
It may not be.
We'll see if it even works. All right, we got the 4 we needed. That's 3 hits from Jisa.
All right, so 3 + 1 from Elizabeth. You guys managed to maneuver the shuttlecraft closer to the 3 large warbirds. You're close enough that your passive sensors are able to you're really close. You're close enough that your passive scanners can scan the ships. Their shields are down, obviously, because shields don't really work in this nebula very well. And you can make the logical conclusion that the lead warbird is probably the warbird that has Toshiri on it. Ambrose, you don't even need the educated guess so much as there is a definitive feeling in your guttural region that is probably the ship that you need to be on. So that would be your transport over.
We got general ship layout, right?
You have a basic understanding of what they're like, yeah. I mean,
yeah, because we got a whole packet of information from somebody.
Yeah, you've been aboard one of these before too, because this is the same kind of ship that Toshiri had in the previous episode.
It seems like Starfleet intelligence would probably have like rough ideas of layouts and
you have a general idea.
Well, these are brand new ships, right?
They're within the last year or so, yeah. Because again, Toshiri had, well, not necessarily one of these, but she had one that was similar to this. She had one of the smaller versions of this.
Right.
I mean, that's what Starfleet intelligence does, baby.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you have probably a general layout. Plus, Romulans tend to lay things out like even the Federation lays things out pretty much the same in every Federation ship. It's just a matter of, a deck or 2 off, depending on how many decks the ship has. The big thing about these ships would be you might not be able to know exactly where the holding cells would be, but it wouldn't be that hard to gather roughly where they would be. They're generally in the center of the ship. There's usually a high energy signature there because, especially if someone's being held there, the energy force fields are there. So you can get a rough idea of where you would probably want to start. There's also the benefit of if you transport into select areas of the ship, it won't be as populous and it won't be as hard to transport in because it's closer. You're not beaming through as many materials and it's more precise, shorter distances, that kind of thing. So you decide if you want to go deeper into the ship and get closer to what might be the core area you want to be to, or if you want to start on the farther outside of the ship and work your way in. Ouch, my ankle. It's kind of up to you. It's just a matter of how many guys you want to shoot in the process.
I'd say we hit this hard and fast. This is a top-of-the-line Romulan Warbird. I'm sure they have sophisticated sensors. They're going to realize very quickly that they have been boarded. Let's try to pinpoint as close as possible where to beam us in. Right. I'm going to pull up the loose schematics of the ship that we have, and I'm just going to take that that little gemstone necklace. What is that crystal?
The Kyber crystal
called?
Not Kyber.
Yeah, no,
that's the wrong name.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
the crystal. Yeah,
but I'm gonna close my eyes and focus on that and just see if I can focus that gut instinct. Focus that draw.
Right. What were you gonna say, Brian?
I was thinking maybe could I do a retroactive roll for Silva to have planned and found the perfect spot to beam in with the most effectiveness as part the Starfleet intelligence information that we've talked about.
I'll do it as part of a combined roll between you and Ambrose, and I'll have Yezabeth or whoever wants to assist with that roll too for the transport itself. Go ahead and give me a roll with Silva. Difficulty be 2. And it'll essentially, if you succeed, it'll create an advantage and lower the difficulty for Ambrose and the other crew.
Okay, sounds good. Does my espionage focus apply?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Somewhere we got to get some momentum. So here's a two difficulty.
1. So I do not succeed.
Okay. Well, we tried. The dice are going to be in my favor today. It looks like it's bad for you guys. All right. So you do have some general stuff that Silva was able to get you, but it's not definitive. So you go ahead and make your roll for Ambrose. Actually, there's no roll for Ambrose. That's just a thing you're doing. You get as you focus on the crystal, there's a slight glow that emanates from the crystal, and you feel a draw towards the section of the ship where you feel it would be the most advantageous to beam in, closest that you're going to be able to get to Toshri. Actually, you know where Toshri is aboard ship. You can feel that. Looking that over at the schematics with Tong and Yezabeth, you can get a general idea of where to beam in at, which will be a little farther away than you can't get too close to that energy signature,
right?
As it would be difficult for Tong. It'd be more difficult for Tong to beam into that. Mm-hmm. But with that, you have a general idea where you're going to go. Go ahead and give me the transporter roll. Who can assist with that? Nobody can assist with that. That's just Tong at this point.
Oh boy.
Jisa could assist because she's not leaving the ship. What weapons are you guys taking? Are you taking phaser rifles? Am I getting that point of threat?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Yezabeth would have a pistol plus a toolkit.
Okay. Not taking a rifle?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Ambrose is going to...
Anna's going to hand out toe tags and say, good luck.
Ambrose, of course, has his phaser rifle, and he also has... I meant to look up this guy's name. He has the Mek'leth of...
Oh, yeah.
That guy, that Klingon guy that I beat up.
It's not Mobar, but I can't think of his name right now. But yes,
right.
The former the cloned replica, the base for the clones of the Klingons from earlier. Yes,
right. Who was Martok's son? Yeah.
Martok's other son, not the one.
Others,
from the TV
yeah.
series. This is from the one from DS9. So,
so I have his Mek'leth.
Right. All right. Go ahead and give me the beaming over roll. This does have an increased complication range. It does not have an increased difficulty for the beam over. It does actually. I'm sorry. It has a difficulty of 4, and the complication range is increased by 2.
Okay.
You can fail.
So 18, 19,
you can succeed
20.
at a cost, which is just going to be power drain, mostly from the shuttlecraft, which will hinder the shuttle's escape.
Okay. So 18, 19, 20. Complication.
Yes, 18, 19, 20.
Okay. Focus in transporters, obviously. This is a high difficulty roll, so go ahead and take another momentum. I need to get some more talents on these guys so I can do more fancy things.
I believe you guys had a plan in place from before, so you would actually get an advantage on that. So difficulty is actually only going to be 3.
Okay. Control engineering, right?
Yep. Yeah, looking at my notes from last session, you guys do have an advantage.
5 successes.
Nice. Difficulty was 3, so you gain 2 momentum. And no complication, I assume?
Correct.
All right, so no one materializes in a wall. You beam aboard ship. The lights are in a low state. There's an eerie green glow coming from various panels. It's oddly quiet aboard ship. Reminds you almost of like the context of silent running, which is really irrelevant in space. But there aren't a lot of people patrolling. There aren't a lot of people milling about. You don't see anybody at the moment, but it doesn't feel. It feels sparse in this area that you've beamed into. There are some control consoles on the walls, just like there are on Federation starships. And there are several doors in the hallway. You know that you need to go forward, and then you'll need to go down one deck. Not too bad, but...
You said there's several consoles?
There are consoles, just like the wall consoles, just like there are on the Federation ships.
Yazabeth will quickly walk over to one of the consoles, and she'll say, I'm going to try to disable their phaser sensors. If we don't, they'll know we're coming from a mile away.
Do you want any help?
Yeah, that'd be great.
And she's going to go over there to help her with her. Can she use her focus with computers to help with this?
Yep.
Or cybernetics? Cool.
Not cybernetics, but definitely computers.
I would like to spend... what's the difficulty, first of all?
Do you speak Romulan? Difficulty is probably going to be 3.
No.
It's an unfamiliar system.
Sure.
Then why don't I do the role and she assists me since I speak Romulan?
Well, here's the thing: is I do have the right tool for the job. So if I have tools, it conveys advantage. So that decreases it down to 2.
Right.
Okay. And with the Romulan, she can help you.
Yeah, and since you're a linguist, I would say that would also have applied. So you guys were both, either way, you guys are going to get the difficulty on by 1. So the difficulty is still 2. And you want to disable, basically just want to disable internal sensors, or you just want to specifically disable phaser sensors?
Disable. I mean, I'll disable as many sensors as I can.
I got you.
So maybe start with the phaser sensors, and then if I get extra, I can disable more sensors.
Sure.
Okay, great. I'll spend a momentum. 1.
Okay. Difficulty is 2. No complication range. No increased complication range.
Nice.
Got 1 from Kendall, and Brian got
3.
So that's 4 total. I wasn't sure if that was the same roll or not, because I hadn't looked back since.
That's a
lot of successes for you guys. All right. I lied about it, the dice being in my favor tonight. So that's 4 successes total. That's 2 momentum to you if you want to use them. You do disable the internal weapon sensors. You have enough momentum to disable all internal sensors. And if you wanted to spend another momentum, so to be a total of 3 momentum spent, you could disable internal force fields as well.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Yes.
I would like to spend an additional momentum on gather in to gain additional info. Okay. And I would like to use, before I turn those sensors off, I would like to get information about how many guards are between us and the prison.
Okay. Do you have anything that gives you free momentum for that, or is it just going to spend another one that's actually there?
I'll spend another momentum on that.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had anything that gave you free momentum.
I'm double checking. I think my ops roll. It generates 1 bonus momentum, it says assisted by the ship's computers or sensors, or using a tracker.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure that would apply in this particular case. We'll just use the momentum that's there.
The momentum.
So you've got that. There are probably 3 stations between you and the main. There are 3 postings, like patrol postings, between you and the main brig. There are 2 guards, and 4 guards. So 2 guards, the main one, 2 guards, the secondary one, which are access points to turbo lifts. So you've got the turbo lift, you got the one going on a turbo lift, 1 coming off a turbo lift. Then you've got, when you actually get to the main brig, there's 4 guards in front, and you're not sure how many guards inside because of the energy. Although what shows on the duty roster that when you checked it should be 4. So it should be 2, 2, 4, 4.
Okay. And does there seem to be a route? And I take it that is the most efficient route from here to there?
That is the most efficient route from here to there with the looking at the sensors, looking at your quick log. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, great. That's it. I'll put the console back, I'll report to everybody what we found. There seems to be 8 guards between us and them. I've disabled the sensors, so I don't think any. I think we'll be able to go in undetected. I'm not sure if I can account for personal communications devices, though. So if we see anybody, we'll want to take them down quick.
Would I be able to look into that?
As far as disabling comms?
Or being able to tell how many communications devices are between here and there and whether we can disable it.
There wouldn't be any way to disable the comms from this console. You'd have to go somewhere that would actually that's a high priority system on the ship that would not have that access here. You probably could access it from another nearby console, a less just wall-based console. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I believe the most efficient means of disabling communications is disabling the person. Set phasers to maximum stun. We will try not to kill anybody here, but we need to make this clean. We should move out. We have Yesbeth, good work on disabling the sensors, but they may have picked up our presence on our initial beam in. We should move.
Yeah, it's almost assuredly they have got at least some recollection, some notification of the beam in. It's a pretty standard thing for ships to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys begin moving forward and heading towards the first turbo lift access. Back aboard the Europa, Commander Brooks, you have initiated your escape plan, which is to go along the outside edge of the nebula, just off of the plasma fields, which those big brown things are the plasma fields. I don't know if you guys can see. I didn't move you over to it, but so you're skirting the plasma fields and the nebula, just inside the nebula itself, mostly because the plasma fields are very, very dangerous to be inside of. You're detecting. You're able to maintain a decent connection with the shuttlecraft through direct line of sight communication. It's a very near field. It's directly communicating with you guys. It's a straight line. It is not something that's picked up by the Romulan ships. Aboard the ship, though, Jisa and Tong will quickly report that there is one of the warbirds has begun to move off towards the direction where the shuttlecraft came from, where Europa was. Europa is not there now, but it's not hard to figure out that if it's basically following the wake back. It doesn't see the shuttlecraft, but it is moving in a direction that is indicative of following the impulse eddies that came from the shuttlecraft back to its origin point.
Is there any way to lessen the eddies or send off false ones in different directions?
Yeah, sure. You could probably rig some. Either you could send a shuttlecraft out to create artificial eddies. You could do them by remote if you wanted to. You could probably also do it with small clusters of probes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay. Which one you want to do and which direction you want to send them?
Well, we have those traps laid.
You do. They're at they're at the escape end of the. I'll move you guys over to the thing so you can see it. The general layout, though, if that loads for you, the big triangles are obviously your buoys, any of which can be used to explode and not only do damage to the ships, but also pretty much render the entire sector impossible to cloak. Probably blinding sensors too. If you're not aware they're coming, they will blind your sensors, which was, I believe, the original intent of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you could try to send them towards one of those. You could send them into the brown misty plasma field goo. Send them back out the way you guys came. However you want to go. You're heading down around that dark blue line that's there. That's your.
So I'm heading down?
Yep. The intent is to go down towards the bottom of the screen. and then out.
Okay.
So that dark blue dashed line is you. The light blue dashed line is the line that the bird followed. That's the route the shuttlecraft took to the red circle. The red circle is the rendezvous point. The yellow dashed line is where the shuttlecraft is supposed to go, assuming nothing goes bad, and rendezvous with you.
Okay.
And all the brown blobs are asteroids.
The dark brown blobs are asteroids. The light brown stuff is the plasma fields, and the pink is obviously the nebula.
Okay, I would like. Is there any way I can make it seem like I circled back and sent them toward that back buoy?
The one at the top of the screen? Sure.
Huh?
Yeah, you can do that. I would say whoever's making the roll, which you can give a command to set up your plan, which is a basic command roll. I'm not sure what the actual ability you used was, but I'll say if you make a command roll, it will give Kostra, who will be the one firing the thing, an advantage, which the difficulty for that would normally be +2 because of the navigation difficulties in the system. But between your command roll and him doing it, you guys can reduce the difficulty. So,
would it be command and like
presence?
breezing? Presence, got it. Okay, and can I use my focus of team dynamics?
Sure. You should actually give you should as a role-playing moment, I think giving the command is also a good thing. So that way Kostra and Brian knows exactly what you want him to do.
Let's see in a sec. Lieutenant Commander, do you think you can get him to think we turned around?
I think I can get them, send them on a wild goose chase. That's for sure.
Excellent. I would like to see if we can make them think we've made an about face.
Perfect. Let's get these hawks to chase some mice and launch one of the probes.
Right. Kendall got a 1 success. That you roll 2 dice. Kendall, you can roll 2 dice for your roll, which
Cool.
is presence and command.
It's 2 successes.
All right, that's what you need. Which lowers difficulty by 1 for Brian. You also get an assist by the ship there, Brian. Difficulty is 3.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find the ship here.
Someone got that?
I got it.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't already, I got it. So
I was bringing it up.
yeah, I got it. That is weapons and security.
Engineering.
Engineering works. Sounds right. Everything the ship does is focused. No challenge dice. Roll.
Sometimes you have to. Oh no, there it goes.
Yeah, it actually rolls a die on the screen when I do it. So
yeah.
1 success, that gives you a total of 2. Which is not enough, but hang on, I can't see through my glasses.
Is that enough the advantage though?
Hey, I have the advisor thing. It says whenever you assist another character using one of your command discipline, the character being assisted may reroll 1d20. Can we do that?
I'll let it apply. Yeah, sure. What were you gonna say, Brian?
I was gonna say if Eleanor's roll applied advantage, wouldn't that decrease the difficulty?
Yeah, difficulty was originally 4.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, in that case, I'll just reroll.
Yeah, +2 to all navigation, +4 to all sensors, +1 to all weapon stuff. Although I suppose this would technically be a weapon thing.
No, even worse. Okay. What can you do? Doesn't look like he's taking the bait, Commander.
You launch the probes and they go zipping past and for a few seconds the Warbird stops and it begins doing an active scan, which doesn't do it a whole lot of good. It can't do a whole lot with active scans. But it doesn't move. It's not going back, but it's not coming forward either. So it's kind of a stalemate where you're at. And as you're moving farther down your path, it is getting harder and harder to sense the ship, because the sensor range is extremely limited in here. So if you get more than a few spaces away, a few 100 kilometers away, it becomes very difficult to sense the ships.
Is there a way of increasing and decreasing the amount of eddies we're letting off?
Yes. So the best way to do that would be to switch to maneuvering thrusters and not using the impulse engines anymore. So it would take a lot longer to get through this, but
Okay.
you'd be using a lot less energy and leaving a lot less of a trail.
Would that... It doesn't sound like it would work very well with our time-sensitive mission.
It would definitely be a risk. It would definitely put Europa behind schedule, but that doesn't mean it's not doable.
So, but staying this far ahead of it, they wouldn't really be able to sense us.
Yeah, if you switched to thrusters, that'd almost be impossible for them to follow that once you get a distance. So if you get a distance away and then switch to thrusters, it would be very difficult for them almost impossible for them to find you without probes or small shell craft or whatever they're going to use to try to find you.
How far away is the distance?
Probably another turn or another round or so worth of maneuvering. Another scene is what I'm going for.
Okay. Keep going. We're going to be switching to thrusters.
All right, going in impulse. The ship begins to continue moving. Back to the shuttlecraft. What are you guys planning on doing? Well, Jisa and Tong, it's one person. Basically, what do you want to do with this Ambrose? We don't have to switch back to you every time because it's just you and you on the ship. Do you want the shuttlecraft to try to follow the line, the yellow line back down to rendezvous, or do you want to deviate from that plan?
Well, we need to wait here to beam the away team back, right?
Well, the green ships are still moving. So the other ships are still moving. So you could follow them along, or you can try to get back to the ship and hope that Europa can pick it up later. So it just depends on how you want to go about it. The plan was, I think originally I had the Europa beaming them off, but that's not a very good plan. So the better plan would be the shuttlecraft staying near these two large ships and waiting for the signal.
Yeah. Okay. So Jisa is a trained fighter craft pilot with specialties in warp field manipulation and electronic warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And with Tong's help doing all the engineering stuff, I think what they'd like to do is swoop in real close to the Warbird to basically fly under the radar. I want to get up underneath their sensor platforms. Yeah.
All right.
So it looks like we're just if they're looking for something, it still just looks like we're debris caught in the wake or something like that.
Sure. I'm not going to make you roll because I like the idea of the ship being real close, and if something happens later, I can make the roll then. So you get in real close. Tong suggests that you get right up next to one of the nacelles. You're flying less than 25 meters from the actual hull of this ship, on two sides, both on the underside of the wing and the nacelle side. So it's very, very close. If this ship makes a fast maneuver, it will hit you if it turns that way. So it's a dangerous place to be, but that is where you guarantee they will not see you. Lest someone goes to a window and looks out.
Mm-hmm.
Back aboard the ship, the Romulan ship. You guys are making your way.
Such a cool visual.
What's that? Oh,
that's such a cool visual. Yeah. No, I'm just caught up in the cinematics of it.
The four of you aboard ship, aboard the Romulan ship. You're heading down towards the main triple lift, the first triple lift that you were heading to. There is, as you get close to the first triple lift, there is an announcement that goes over the internal comm system in Romulan, which your universal translators and your linguist here can figure out. That what it says is, we've been boarded, all hands to stations. And then there's a weird klaxon that you're not used to. Probably something similar to a boarding raid thing. And then you can hear several doors down the hall opening and boots heading in various directions. You quickly come to the turbo lift. This is going to be a busy place, probably pretty quick. As you round the corner, you can see the two guards. They are on not high alert, but they're definitely standing there with their disruptor rifles. They are wearing quote unquote armor, the battle vests, which costs me a threat, as does their having the phaser rifles or the plasma rifles, whatever they're, the bad guns, the really bad guns. However, you guys get to go first. You have initiative because that's how this game works. There are two guards in front of the door. You see a red light behind them that indicates that turbo lift is probably locked. So you'll need time once you knock these guys out to open that door. Which means you may get more people coming your way. What are you going to do? Who wants to go first?
Does it look like they are particularly guarding the door? Or
they are clearly guarding the turbo lift, yes. They're not doing a very good job of it. They're not in a crouched position with their weapons, aimed anywhere. They're just standing there in front of the turbo lift door. But they're clearly in front of the turbo lift door. There would be no way to get around them without shooting them. Or finding some way to distract them to go down the hall in a way that they would not see you.
Yes, and that's the route I would like to try to take as soon as I remember who I'm talking to. Lieutenant Tana, can you get their attention? Draw one or both of them past this way. I'll sneak back through this room, come up behind them, and take them out. Mills, stand by with a phaser charge to take out one or both of them in case this goes wrong. We need to do this quick.
Mills just nods.
Not old lad. Hope you're up to date on your Romulan swear words.
Yezabeth looks surprisingly cool and collected, given her normal disposition.
Donna will call out around the corner and call him. Hey, aren't you the insert colorful Romulan swear words here? The pair of you, right?
Red baboon's bottom.
It's going more for hey, I think I found something. Come check this out. But sure.
Well, she's not Romulan either way. So
pick the wrong person.
Are you running? You're running past them. Is that what the plan is?
She's calling up.
All right. From where you're currently standing is the question, because the four of you are standing together.
Yeah, she's moved to a different position, around a different corner.
I gotcha.
To call them around to where she is.
All right. They look over and lock their disruptors on you and begin moving slowly towards you. They're yelling things like lay down on the ground, put your weapon down, get on the ground, arms behind your back, that kind of thing. It's typical law enforcement terminology. That is your action. That is their action. When someone else gets another action on your team. Who wants to go next? Also, welcome Slightly Above Water.
Yes, hello. I'd like to get in a position, however this corridor is laid out. My idea is that Tana would draw them forward, and I would get behind them and just come up with the blunt end of the mek'leth and just bam in the back of one of their heads.
You can probably still maneuver that with a quick stealth check if you want to try that. To get behind them without them noticing you. Let's say that's a daring and security.
Okay.
Question mark?
I like that. Daring security.
I'm going to say the complication range is an additional 2 because if you fail, they're going to turn around and shoot you.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And
Cool.
I will give them the action to do so.
Okay.
You picked the wrong person to handle this nicely.
I have a focus in escape and avoidance.
Okay.
And this is just for positioning. I'm not attacking yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do the attack roll separately because if you fail, they're going to shoot you before you have a chance to attack.
Right. Remind me, is this opposed or do I need to meet a difficulty?
It is technically opposed, but the difficulty is 2. I'm not going to roll for it.
Okay. I'm finally playing my main character again in a combat situation. Bold security.
Sure.
So that means
you give me a threat, I think. If you're
I give you a threat, I get a dice, and then I can re-roll that dice.
Right.
I believe.
Sounds close enough for government work today.
All right. Let's just go with that.
So you're rolling 3. You have 1 momentum currently, which you might want to hold on to. 2 and a complication.
So that is a success with complication.
Success with complication. So you get it behind one of them. Go ahead and make the swing to knock one of them out. The other one is going to shoot at you.
Okay. Awesome. Yes, I have a focus in hand-to-hand combat. I have my mek'leth for whatever that is worth.
Can I assist by shooting at the other one?
Mills will shoot the other one in a second. Because that was her role for this. Not this role I just made. That was her part of the plan. Or yes, about
bold security. Bold security again. So I will.
You can re-roll that d20.
I just realized I can re-roll that d20,
which we talked about and then didn't do. So if you want to roll that d20,
yes. I really should.
Mm-hmm.
The GM in me just wants to let the complication ride, but I really should. I'll go ahead and roll that because despite Jack's best effort to drive up threat, Ambrose would be trying to do his very best here.
Right.
So that's just another D20 roll.
Yep.
Is there a way for I could do that with challenge dice?
/ roll 1 D20.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that, but I didn't know if there was something already set up here.
I don't think there's a way to do it on the system. So
so that's a 10. I need to roll under my 15, so that is another success.
Right. All right, so 3 successes. You gain one momentum, or you can use that momentum to do things with it. In the meantime, you do manage to sneak it behind one and hit it.
Okay.
So, actually, that's just a momentum. You just get that momentum right now. So you go ahead and do damage then. Since you snuck up behind him, we can avoid the actual rolling to hit and just do damage.
Okay.
And you have to do 5 damage, FYI.
Okay. Something I thought I had on here that I guess I do not. The mek'leth.
I believe it is 2.
So, yeah, sword, so 2.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me add that real quick. Mek'leth. So that would be 2 plus security, but
Correct.
that is already built into the button. So I only need to put 2
I believe
into my damage pro.
I believe so. And it'll probably roll the wrong number first anyway. So,
well, let's see what happens. I don't know what any of these symbols mean anyway.
What does it?
What's your security? 4, 5?
5.
All right, so that rolled correctly. So you've got 1,
6, 7,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with all of the effects that you would want. 6 damage and an effect. Damage is required as 5. It's got -1 for his resistance because of the armor. So you still get 5. Do you have anything? Does the weapon have an effect? I don't think it does.
I do not have it pulled up.
In the terms you're using it, I don't think it would matter anyways, because it definitely does not have. It is not designed for knocking people unconscious.
Yeah, basically, I'm basically holding it like a tonfa, I believe they are called,
Sure.
and I'm just using that to put a bit of extra hard metal on my elbow, so I just right to the back of their neck and just knock them out.
Yep. All right.
So I have effects that I believe I can use for things like getting past their armor or whatnot, but that should knock them out, right?
Yeah, and I don't think those would apply here in this particular case. That would be momentum. But
that's momentum.
You do have enough to knock him unconscious anyways. So the guy goes out and he is down and unconscious. One of them is down and unconscious. The other one is still oblivious to your being there, although he will know you are there on his turn. But first, Elizabeth and Mills can go. You've got the guy on totally unconscious, though.
Just
awesome.
Just FYI, swords do have vicious, so that would apply.
If you're using it as a blade, I don't think that would apply to just knocking somebody unconscious.
Fair enough.
It's the equivalent of using the butt.
Yes, you're just using the hilt. You're cold cocking him with, guns have piercing. Guns with bullets have piercing, but they don't do that when you hit them with the handle of the gun.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. So Yezbeth is going to, with a cold-hearted glare, channel her inner soldier, drawing upon her past life to tag. She's going to tag one of her past lives, the first one, whose name I can't remember, who was a soldier or a general in a previous life, and is going to step forward with military precision and shoot the phaser at the Romulan. She's going to activate the phaser on Vicious, and she is going to give him a shot.
Okay.
And because of the thing, I get advantage on it because of my trillness.
Ambrose is out here counting coup on his enemies. Oof.
And misses. Apparently, past experience is not a replacement for talent. Oh no,
this is why I ordered Mills to do this.
Mills will be doing it also. But what were you saying, Brian?
No, that's fine. I didn't mean it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm messing with you.
Oh no,
you're here. Play your character.
His body's much shorter than he was used to.
All right, Mills shoots. And also misses, I believe, because 16s are automatically going to be not misses. So Mills turns and shoots and or aims and shoots, but also does not succeed. Which brings us back around the top of the round. Anyone who wants to go may go. The PCs are the lead. There's only 2 NPCs. Only one of them is left. So Ambrose, you can go again first, or Mills, or Elizabeth, or Tana. Anybody?
So I see these 2 phaser shots go over both of their shoulders, and what I would like to do is actually, follow through with my strike.
Yep.
So that as the Romulan is hitting the ground, I'm tucking and rolling, and I want to lock my legs in between the other walking Romulan's legs, flip him down, roll back over, and just slam down on his temple.
Okay. That'll be a contested action. I will actually roll for this contested action. And it's just a security attack. Basically, it's a hand-to-hand attack. So,
okay. Is that daring security?
Sure.
Okay. Daring security. Take another threat for bolt again.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. That'd
Awesome.
be great for D&D.
I'm pretty sure he just shot himself in the face.
Awesome.
Go ahead and take I took my threat. You have to make 1 success to make this happen.
Okay. I re-rolled that D20 because of bold. I got a 3 that is below my discipline, so it is actually 3 successes.
All right. That gives you 2 momentum. Go ahead and roll 2 damage.
While this is going on, can Tana have darted over to the turbo lift to start opening it?
Yes. Yep. Go ahead and finish the roll for the attack, or for the damage, I should say, and then we'll move to Tana doing the hack and slash, or the hack and just hack.
I believe that's 5 damage, but I think they also have some armor or something.
1, 2, 3, 4 damage.
4 damage.
You
can I use some of that?
You have well, it should have vicious, but because you're blunting, it does not.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
1, 2, 3, 4. You do have 2 momentum. 1 momentum, I think you can do additional damage. 1 momentum, you can You can go through there.
1 momentum, I can re-roll my damage.
Yes.
Which I think would be beneficial here, considering I'd rolled half.
Yeah, it's roll your damage.
Nothing.
Or you can do a bonus damage. You can do it either way, because you can ignore their armor with 1 of your momentum, and the other momentum can just add damage, which would give you 5. Or you can just re-roll. Your call.
No, let's play it safe then. 1 for penetration, 1 for an extra damage.
Right. And that will give you 5, which will put him unconscious.
Awesome.
That brings us to Tana, who has moved over to the turbo lift to try to make an unlock. You guys can hear coming down the hallway. I'm going to say 2 rounds away. So you get 1 free round of trying to open this turbo lift, and the next round will, be attacked. Your difficulty is 2 to open the door on the turbo, to unlock the door on the turbo lift. Because of your being able to speak Romulan. Normally it would be 3.
All right.
And it would be either control and engineering or reason and engineering.
I'm going to go with control.
I would also allow security to go on that list. So,
can I assist with this?
Yes.
I'm going to do control engineering, and can I use my focusing computers?
Yes. That's not an assist, Brian. It's a roll.
Yeah, I know. I clicked the wrong one. Ignore the second die.
Yeah.
All right, so focus use. I'm rolling 2 dice, right?
Correct. And you've got 1 success because of Brian. So
cool. That is 3 successes then. 3
successes. That is enough. You get 1 momentum, in fact. Boo-doo-ba-doo-boo. Momentum.
Awesome.
The 4 of you get on the turbo. The door slides open. There's no one on the turbo lift. It is there because that just how turbo lifts work.
We only have to go down 1 floor, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. I want to drag these 2 Romulans in the turbo lift. I want to set it to go to the farthest away possible option, and I want to have us just climb down the shaft.
Okay.
I assume there's a little hatchway we can open up. And
yeah, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking the time. I'm trying to decide if I want to do something with the timeline there.
Okay.
That was also technically 1 action. So the next one. So yeah, you can do that without, as you're getting ready to go down the hatch, the doors close and you guys can see just at the very last second, people coming around the corner. Mills then reaches up and pulls out a cable that shorts out the door. So the door cannot be opened and you guys can walk down 1 flight, climb down 1 flight.
But you're saying we were spotted.
Yes. Although
okay.
There was people were able to see that the doors were closing. That does not necessarily say that they saw where you're going, but
they saw Federation uniforms.
You're not 100% sure. You saw them.
We did not meet their eyes.
Yeah, you saw them. Okay. They may not have seen you.
We came here in Federation uniforms?
Of course. You're wearing brightly colored clothing and rainbow hats.
Yeah.
This is how
we have our Starfleet pajamas on.
That's right. Yeah. You got your onesies.
It's a combat one.
Tana's not used to this.
I mean, what do you expect going into a combat situation? Tactical vests? Come on.
All right, so
guerrilla warfare. What else?
Right. You're making your way down the tunnel, and let's go ahead and jump back to Europa. Click the button and then drag the thingy, and you're back on Europa. You managed to get some distance out. You've done some quick maneuvering. The warbird that had gone to intercept at the launch point where you were has begun slowly moving along the same path that you had originally been traveling. You have managed to get some distance. It is pretty close to the full distance you would need to be able to just guaranteed be away. But at the rate it's moving, at the rate you're moving now, without going much faster, you will not be able to outrun them. However, you can still do the trick to go to thrusters and then either maneuver somewhere else or continue on your path.
Can we go to thrusters but maneuver on the other side of that comet there?
Sure.
You use the terrain to our advantage?
Yep. Be an option. You want to suggest that to the captain?
Silva will say that those rocks could serve as pretty good cover for us. We might be able to open up a little past them.
Let's do it.
All right.
Silva will pound into the key and move the ship on manual and steer towards the asteroids.
All right. This is going to be a single maneuvering roll. Difficulty is going to be +2 for the navigation. So difficulty is 4. You're on thrusters. So I'm going to up the complication range by 1. And go ahead and make me a maneuvering roll. A maneuver.
Sounds good.
Hildy, I've invented a maneuver. It's a reference no one's going to get.
Would you say that the Romulan ship is currently suffering from a trait or complication which presents a weakness or vulnerability?
Yes.
Okay. I guess it doesn't really apply on this roll, but it may eventually. Okay. So I take it my home operations applies. Maneuver the ship.
I believe you have 2 momentum as well.
Well, I forgot to use either of them. So
you have 3, and you didn't use any of them. So.
Oh, you know what? I will use one. Actually, there we go.
Oh,
nice.
4 successes.
So 2, 1, 2, and 1. That is 4 successes. You definitely succeed, and you gain some momentum. You said you used a momentum?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So that one is used, and then you gain 1 back. So you have.
Oh, I might gain more. The ship also would assist. I assume.
It will also assist.
Let me roll for that real quick.
Jumping back and forth between the screens. It's all flashy, loady.
Yeah, that's another one.
All right. So that gains another momentum. And then you guys managed to maneuver. That's not the one I wanted to maneuver. Good Lord. Moving the whole line. You maneuver to behind that asteroid. Also, I believe the captain could have assisted with that role. So if the captain wants to assist, you might gain another momentum.
The commander.
The acting captain.
Can I do that, or is it too late for that?
No, go ahead. This will be a command and presence roll. You're basically giving orders, and that will help assist.
Cool.
Just trying to get you guys up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more momentum, and you guys get 6. So
That didn't.
All right. All right. You're now hiding behind that little asteroid. From there, you're pretty confident that there's no way their sensors are going to pick you up. That's not to say that the other ship that's heading that direction won't, as the other 2 are heading that direction as well, along with the shuttlecraft. But there's no guarantee there. You've definitely lost the other one, though.
Should be pretty safe here, at least for now.
Back aboard.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Just saying, all right.
All right. Back aboard the Romulan ship. You guys get down 1 level. You know that when you open the door, there are going to be 2 guards on their side of it. So that is something you guys need to make preparations for.
I'm gonna shoot. Or like.
Well, you don't have a platform to stand on. You're currently hanging on a ladder going down the turbolift shaft. There's a door access, and you could fit probably 2 people in the doorway with weapons ready to go, and still access the door access. You just have to decide who you're going to do and what you're going to do. Like, you're going to swing in and knock them down with your, like, double boot them, or just shoot them, or overload a grenade, or what are you going to do? Good time for.
Can I open the door from where I am?
Sure.
Tana's going to look back to the captain. Do you think you could maneuver yourself or with one of them right when I open the door?
Of course.
Okay. Does that work?
Yeah.
For you too? For y'all?
Mills is like, I want to do this, but since she's not here, she can't do this. So,
so can I have? So Tana's going to open the door. I'd like to have Mills sort of off to one side, pressed up against the turbo lift shaft, getting ready to shoot when the door opens, and I'm going to be above the doorway, kind of doing the sprawled out cat thing, doing the river thing, firefly. And when it opens, I want to grab onto the lip of the doorway and just swing in. And as you said, just two Starfleet issue boots to the back of one of their heads.
Okay. Mills takes a couple seconds to maneuver herself into position on the far side of the turbo lift. She's kind of precariously, like, standing on a wire, like a large wire conduit, and like one of the emergency lights. And she's balancing, leaning back a bit with her disruptor, her blaster rifle, phaser rifle, whatever that thing you guys carry is, aimed at the door. She also sets it to area of effect. So she kind of winks at you, and you get the idea that, if something happens, you're going to get hit with a phaser blaster too. But we can revive you. So so you get ready.
And I do have quick to action, so theoretically we should all be able to do this at the same time.
Yeah, quick to action is that allows you to hold
the initiative.
Yeah, hold the initiative.
It free retain initiative on the first
combat round.
Yeah,
which this would be a first combat round for this round. So with that, Tana, you initiate everything. So
all right. So what do you want me to roll for this?
Just tell me when you're ready to do it. There's no roll for that particularly to open the door.
So she is going to quickly open the door and try and stay out of their way.
All right. You bet you jack the lever down and then quickly grasp tightly onto the ladder, as the wide rungs of the ladder, as the door slides open, and Ambrose can go first.
All right, I'm gonna Spider-Man swing my way out of this turbo shaft.
All right,
and try to surfboard this guy down to the floor.
All right, there are 2 guards. You want to hit? You want to try to hit them both, or just one?
Is that something I can do? Can I do that?
I would say you could do it with an increased difficulty.
Does that split my damage, or would my damage apply to both of them?
I would have you just roll once and apply to both.
Okay.
Which is obviously what Brian just said too.
Yeah, sure. If Mills is going wide beam, I'll one boot.
Wide beam too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do wide beam too.
One wide boot. This will be daring and security. Difficulty would normally be 2 contested. It's going to be 2 contested still, but +1 because of the splitting the damage, splitting the thing. So I'm going to get basically a free 1. Let me roll real quick to show you what the difficulty will actually be. Roll to 20. And they roll poorly. So your difficulty is still 2.
Okay. Hand-to-hand focus and bold.
Okay.
Standard attack layout. Let's go.
Give me that extra threat.
Yep.
All right.
And I can re-roll that unsuccessful one because I have bold anyway, so might as well. That's another crit, so that is 5 successes.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Oh. All right. So you swing down. The door slides open. Tana grabs onto the ring as Ambrose kind of swings down in the Spider-Man Star Trek two-fisted footed whatever to their backs. You knock them both to the ground, regardless of whether or not you knock them unconscious, because that's a good roll. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. You're not using anything with vicious, but you are using your bare hands, which allows knockdown from an effect, which doesn't. We're doing that. You knocked them down, and that is 6 minus their 1 for their armor. They're both knocked unconscious as they sprawl and hit the floor. They clatter hard to the ground. You hit right behind them, like flat on your back. You don't get the cool pose because I just like it better that way. You left flat on your back, no harm to you, but they're both unconscious. Their disruptor rifles go scattering across the floor. Elizabeth and Tana can step into the hallway, and then Mills comes up behind to hold position.
Yeah, Ambrose was going to make sure he was pretty flat after that anyway, since there was going to be a wide beam coming over him.
Right.
Yeah, so he didn't surfboard this guy down. He just went full slalom skis on these two.
Right.
Hit the ground, and he's going to do that whirlwind kick himself back up maneuver.
Right. All right. So the 4 of you are now on this deck. This is the deck that is going to have the brig on it. The klaxons are still going off, and Yezebeth, you notice that the wall-mounted computer systems, the screens that were you guys accessed earlier, are flashing. Your basic knowledge indicates that you know that someone is trying to reboot the integrated systems to get the probably to get the force fields back online. It's what you would be doing in this case, probably.
No. She'll run over to them and try and cut the other person out.
All right.
Can Tana go over there and assist her?
Yep. Ambrose, you and Mills take up a position on the other side of the hallway, guarding in either direction as they
Sweep and clear. Yeah.
So you're facing left, she's facing right. Yezebeth and Tana are going up to the console. You quickly realize that you're locked onto the console, but Yezebeth, you know that you can go in behind, that you can like pry off the wall, go in there and do it the hard way. That does require an increase in the complication range where the system could short out on you. Other than that, your difficulty is 2 it's 3, but you guys have the advantage from all the things. So it's 2.
Perfect. I'll spend 1 momentum on this. Would my I take it my computers wouldn't apply since I'm doing hardware,
right.
But would my troubleshooting apply?
Sure.
Cool.
And Tana, you are giving an assist here.
Yes. I got 1.
I got 2. 3 total.
3 total, which difficulty was 2, so you got your momentum back. You managed to shut down and you're fiddling around with the wires inside, and you grab a couple of things, pull a couple of things, and how do you have an idea of how you would want to stop them? Like what exactly you are doing to stop them? If not, I have something for you, but some technobabble at it.
I would like. I think right now, Yezebeth is feeling fairly cruel-blooded. I think she's going to try and short out the console on the other side.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
It's what Mycella would do.
All right. Just for that, go ahead and now you don't need to roll. I was going to have you roll damage, but that's not really. I'll do it on my end. So yeah, somewhere you have shorted out someone else's console, and likely there are little plastic rocks flying all over their console area, and it's bad for them. So
she'll say, "Ha! That should teach you to mess with me."
All right. And on that, around the corner comes, from Mill's side, comes a few more Romulans, and they are going to get an opportunity to fire back. As they come around the corner, as they come screeching around the corner, they yell something, "Oh, there they are!" And one of them levels a disruptor rifle at the first person they see, which is Mills. And it is I'm going to roll 3d20, and I'm going to spend a threat. Because I haven't hit nothing today. 10, 10, 16. That is 2. That is a hit. Disruptors do 3, so that is 3 plus 3. Roll 3d6. That should have been 66, sorry. Roll another 3d6. So that's 2, 3, and an effect. 4, 5. So 5 and an effect. The effect will be vicious, I think, is what the disruptors do. So it'll be 6 damage. At which point the disruptor goes off, hits Mills square in the chest, and she goes down. She's technically incapacitated, not unconscious, because that's not how it works, but there's a big green burn hole. She's kind of smoking out of that spot where she was just hit. It is your guys' turn to act. Ambrose, you are on the way it's laid out is Tana is the next in line, then Yezebeth, then you around this slight curve. But you can see the 3 Romulans who just came around the corner. So.
Okay. Romulans use disruptors.
They do.
Which, as far as I know, don't have stun settings necessarily. Correct. I'm assuming you didn't just kill Mills.
No,
Relev's not here.
It would have taken 10 to kill her. I only did 6. So,
but there is a slightly green, glowing, smoking crater in her chest.
Yes, and 1 wound point. Taking 1 injury in Star Trek, you are out of the combat. So she is done. She can't do anything else without spending determination to act. She's still technically conscious and able to do stuff, but not really.
She is injured and conscious, but cannot act.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so I tried to play it nice. I have a big, beefy plasma rifle here, my phaser type 3.
Yep.
No, I have a focus and composure. He's not going to rage yet. He's been in therapy for a bit. So I'm not going to supercharge my rifle into lethal damage. I'm just going to keep it at maximum stun. Yeah, but I want to rush forward and sort of like with one leg just like flip push Mills further back and take up a position. And I have to remind myself for the 3 times a year that we actually get into combat. Mm-hmm. This has charge and accurate.
Yes.
So now accurate.
I believe accurate takes a round to aim it. I'm not 100%.
No,
accurate.
It's a minor.
Yeah, it's a minor action. If aimed, a creature may reroll any number of d20s.
So you can't do charge and accurate at the same time.
Right.
It has to be one or the other.
Yep.
But when making the attack, you can reroll any number of d20s.
Right. Or you could do charge and use an area effect, intense, piercing, or vicious.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, since we're kind of outnumbered as far as combative personnel with us, I'm going to charge for an area effect.
Okay.
On my phaser type 3, which, to make sure I have this plugged in correctly, is 4 damage plus my 5 security. But I do still need to hit.
I think it's only 3, isn't it?
No, it's 4. Phaser type 3 phaser rifle is 4 Star Trek symbols.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am
Page
rolling incorrect
193.
damage on the disruptor. Then you should be 4
Huh.
because it's the same.
Wow.
So that's all right. I'll kill you better next time.
Yeah. They just don't know how to use their equipment.
Right.
Okay.
What's that?
Ranged.
No, go ahead.
Ranged attacks is control security.
Oh, yeah.
Is it still daring security?
No, it's control.
It's control. Okay. Control security.
The difference is it's control rather than daring, and it's not contested. It's just difficulty 2.
Okay, just difficulty 2. Okay. I am not actually trained. I don't actually have a focus in firearms. I am focused in hand-to-hand and shipboard tactical systems, but I can't punch out 3 of them at the same time.
No.
So, bold. Take your threat. I actually don't have a focus. So I'm rolling 3 dice. No focus. Bold security. And I'm charged. Okay, I'm going to re-roll that. Complication. A 13 still falls under the 15 that I need, so that is 3 successes.
Okay, yeah. So 3 successes. Yeah, I was.
And then I roll my damage, and this is area of effect.
That's a bad roll, but you do
Well,
have 1
screw
momentum.
that. I'm gonna use one momentum and just re-roll that.
All right. Not
Oof.
much better. In fact, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's 1 better.
One better.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. You use your effect to make it area.
Mhm.
So they all take the 5 damage. These ones are not wearing armor because they were the reinforcement
Okay.
guards. So that is enough.
Okay. Awesome.
You manage to shoot the area effect. All 3 of them tumble to the ground. But you can hear more coming from behind them. So what are you guys going to do?
Can I lock a security door between the reinforcements and the guys we're fighting?
Say that one more time.
Can I try and lock a security door between the reinforcements and the guys we're fighting
Sure.
to keep reinforcements from arriving?
Someone check
Drop
real
a
quick to make sure
bulkhead.
we're still streaming on Twitter because I think we're freezing. I think we're frozen.
Oh, no.
Let me take a look.
But yes, you can make that roll if you want to. Try to make a security door close.
As far as I can see, we're good.
Okay, good.
Does my advantage for having the right tools for the job apply?
Sure.
Okay. I don't think I have a focus that would apply here. I'll spend a momentum.
Okay.
3.
3 successes. Was anyone assisting?
Me.
Okay. Go ahead and make that roll.
And that would be
Either
reason.
daring, I would say either daring or reason and engineering. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll go with daring and computers. Or is this
Engineering. No, the computers wouldn't apply to this one.
okay? Yeah, 1.
1. So that gives you guys a total of 4, which is 2 additional momentum. And that door, as they're coming around the corner, you see a handful, about 5 guys. None of them wearing armor, but they are all carrying disruptor rifles. They come charging around the bend as the door begins closing in that stormtroopers and blast door kind of scene. One of them tries to go through, and before he does, he changes his mind promptly and does not get chopped into pieces, which these doors probably wouldn't do anyway. But the door shuts as there are 5 Romulans on the other side of it. You guys manage to stop them for a few moments. That door probably won't hold them long, though.
Well, then
Gonna press on.
Is that door is obviously not in a direction we need to be going or leaving from.
Well, it depends on how you want to leave. It is not the direction you're going. So what you guys do after that, if you want to go to the bridge or whatever, it might be more difficult. But
there's half a dozen stormtroopers beyond that door.
Correct.
Okay. Can I take my rifle and just like do a quick weld or something?
You
Warp the track, whatever
I get what you're
it may
going for.
take.
I'm trying to decide
Yeah.
if that's something that you could probably do. I would say you probably do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Just take a turn to do it. It doesn't require anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna bend down and one arm just throw Mills up fireman style, and I'm gonna take my rifle in a SG1 Teal'c fashion and just one hand use a rifle to do a quick weld on the door seam.
Mills is grunts in pain, and it's not good.
Elizabeth will move on the other side of Mills to help support
her. Okay. And then you guys begin moving down the hallway some more, heading towards your destination, which will be shortly. Let's go back to the Europa. Aboard Europa. Oh, don't move that. I didn't put stuff on the right layers, apparently. Europa, you've been hiding out in this spot for a little bit. You've definitely gotten, you've definitely lost the one warbird, which is now stopped where you had left off and is scanning the area pretty heavily. The other two warbirds and the shuttlecraft are entering into your passive sensor suite, which is better on this ship than it probably is on theirs. And you are now essentially, or you will quickly essentially be behind them if you don't act. You can be behind them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just letting you know that from where you are right now, if you do not act immediately, you will end up behind those Romulan Warbirds, good or bad. And then you can decide what you want to do from there. But you're the situation is there's one Warbird still back where you were. The shuttlecraft and the two Warbirds are now beginning to pass where you are.
Will that make it more difficult for the shuttlecraft to get back to us?
They won't necessarily know where you are because they probably don't have any idea that you guys are not where the rendezvous point or at the exit point.
If we moved back to the way we were going, would the one that was tracking us before be able to get us again?
Possibly. It's difficult to say. You're probably far enough ahead that you wouldn't be able to be seen. Your biggest risk now is the two warbirds that are alongside / in front of you. The trailing warbird is now trailed, and it probably isn't a threat unless something else changes.
We can try and move it in front of them. It'll mean it'll mean leaving the safety of the asteroid, I'm sure.
They would definitely do that.
Would you recommend that?
Silva will think for a minute, and she'd say, "If I was in the Maquis, I would say that hiding is always the better approach. One possibility is we can wait here, and we won't meet them at the rendezvous point, but when we can send them a message in the clear, giving them a new rendezvous point. It means the Romulans will know where to go, but we can plan the new rendezvous point depending on their position."
Another option you could have, one of the other people is like, one thing we could do is we could wait. We could, or send them the message and have them rendezvous with us inside the boundaries of the buoys. Then when we set off the buoys, we can make a run for it, full speed. They'll be blinded for a little while. We might be able to pick up the shuttle then. The shuttle will be blinded too, though. So we'd have to be very careful.
We could scoop it up like a baby bird.
Okay.
You've got two options. Which one do you want to do? Or come up with your own.
Fire all torpedoes.
You could also, you absolutely could just attack them right now if you wanted to, as an option. They don't have shields. You don't have shields. It would be horrendous. It would be dangerous, but you could absolutely do it.
Pursue at ramming speed.
We would have +2 damage to it. We could very possibly destroy them.
Or at least one of them.
Yeah, depends if you're using the NPC ship rules.
But before they blow us up.
Right. So you do have that option as well. I would suggest, though, blowing up the second of the Romulan ships would probably also take out the shuttlecraft and the people on the ship.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say the second, do you mean the first? Or
So there's two ships in the front, right? Two ships in front of you and one ship behind you. So the two ships in front of you, if you attacked them both, you could possibly destroy them both. But if you destroyed the one that has the crew on it and the shuttlecraft next to it, they would all be dead too.
Yeah, definitely thinking we would attack the one that the shuttle is not.
Yeah,
the one is not on.
Yes,
but it would definitely wreak havoc. Let loose the God of War.
It would change the end of the campaign. That's for sure. So, what would you like to do, Captain? Acting Captain.
She's going to look over at Scylla. I like your plan. Let's go with that.
Lay low, and as soon as the shuttle starts moving, send a message in the clear with a new rendezvous.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That changes a lot of stuff. What's that?
I don't want a lot of damage right now, okay? My brain's kind of foggy. Let me look.
Well, the ship's still in one piece, so that's
so far
about all that's important.
The Europa is going to hold position where it is, and back aboard the Romulan Warbird. The four of you, well, the 3.5 of you, are making your way down the hallway towards the next group. As you head down the hall to a T section and turn right down the hallway towards the. You get to the T section, you will be turning right to go down towards the main doors. Down that hallway, there are 4 guards at what would be essentially a medium range, so 2 actions to get to them. So you can't engage them directly. I don't know if you guys know how that works in this game, but essentially the first round, they're at medium range, so in order to get to them, you have to move for 1 whole action to get to them. Not a whole action, but your movement action would be to move into their space, essentially. If you use 2 full actions or 2 actions, you can move into their space in 1 round, but you can't attack. Does that make sense, everybody? I know Brian knows, but I'm not sure.
Movement is a minor action, right?
Movement is a minor action. To move once is a minor action, so you'd be in. Yes, you can move twice in a single action in a single round. You just can't attack if you do that.
Right. So it's either it's a minor action and a main action, or you can forego your main action for a second minor action.
Correct.
Or you can spend momentum to get another minor action, or something like that. Yeah.
You can use momentum to do a couple of different things. Like I think swift action gives you another minor action or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But phaser rifles can't engage at medium range.
They can. You can't engage with them at hand to hand.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can phaser them and they can disrupt at you. Essentially, they just have the advantage of you can't just run up and knock them all out.
Gotcha.
Other than that, it's pretty much the same as it has been. So with that, you guys are heading down the corridor. You get to the thing. Mills looks at the two of you and Yezabeth. Just set me down. I'll be fine right here. And then she kind of hoists up her, tries to hoist up her phaser rifle and point where she wants to be sat. You don't have to do that. You can take her with you if you want to, but.
No, I'll post her down where she wants to be placed. I'm trying to remember which of these two has less security training.
Oh, likely Yezebeth is the better combatant, at least in terms of experience. Although I don't know. That may not be true because Tana is a resistance fighter, right?
Good fitness, meh, security.
Right. But I mean, background wise, she was resistance, wasn't she? Was Bajoran resistance, wasn't she? Yeah.
Mhm.
So you've been in combat with Yezebeth before. But for sure, Tana has the more recent experience as far as clandestine combat.
Tana's certainly been holding her own, unlike Yezebeth so far.
But Yezbeth needs to be free to move around to like hack things,
right,
and stuff. So I'm going to set Mills down. Tana, keep an eye on her. Cover her position. Cover each other's position. We're going to move in.
Yes, Captain.
All right. You peek around the corner and there are 4 guys standing there. They are in basic formation. There's 2 guys kneeling, 2 guys standing, and their disruptor rifles are facing down the hallway. They likely know you are there, but you still get to act first.
And they're in the brig, right? So I assume there's like an extra wide hallway and then a series of cells along the side.
They're in front of the door to the brig. The door to the brig is still closed. So they're not inside the room. So
this is just a corridor that we're in.
It's just a corridor.
Okay.
There may be more inside the brig because again I said it was 2244, so there might be 4 more guys inside the brig. But there's 4 guys outside.
Okay. Yezbeth, do you see anything here you can overload, contain them with, shock them with? Let's see if we can even these odds a little bit.
They're standing in the middle of the hallway, so I might be able to engage the security, but then that'd keep us from getting past them.
Do we have access to... Are we like near any of the wall panels? Or the...
Yeah, they line all the hallways just like everything else does, but they're currently inactive. Probably due to, Yezebeth shorting them out.
Yeah, would I be able to short them out?
Probably you don't really have well, yeah, you could probably try. It would be an engineering difficulty check. And I would say it's probably pretty high because you're trying to short out a specific panel in a specific hallway.
I think that's where.
Yeah.
So Yezebeth will say, "There's, if I remember correctly from the briefing, there's some powerful conduits nearby. I can short them out. And, well, let's just hope it's passable at that point."
You could short out an EPS conduit, essentially cause a plasma fire.
Yeah.
All right.
And,
difficulty.
Do you want me to go and help her, or do you want me to stay? Just looking at Ambrose.
I could use the help, Captain.
Assist Yezbeth.
All right.
I'll cover the hallway. To use quick to action, do I need to be the person going and then I use that so that somebody else can go? Or can they do their thing and then I proc quick to action, then I can do something?
Yeah, as long as it's any player can act first, and then you can use that to players act again.
Okay, so they're going to do that, and then I'm going to use quick to action because it's first combat, and then I'm going to attack.
Right. So Yezebeth and Tana start accessing the panel. Difficulty is going to be 3 with that's after your advantages. Complication range is going to be also adding 3. So 17, 18, 19, 20.
All right. So,
you're dealing with very dangerous power conduits and you could short it out on yourself.
Okay. Would this be considered, would we be threatened? Yes.
It depends on the context of the ability. You are under threat if that.
All right. Cause, I'm just looking at a strong paw Whenever you attempt a task to resist being coerced or threatened, you reduce the difficulty of that task by 1.
Does Tana have that, or does the other guy got that?
Tana.
Okay. Read it one more time.
Strong paw. Whenever you attempt a task to resist being coerced or threatened, you reduce the difficulty of that task by 1.
No, that wouldn't apply here.
Okay.
So I would like to challenge a value.
Okay.
So I have the value better to be seen and not heard. And I think that this represents a turn for Yezebeth. She's certainly been more aggressive this entire combat than people have seen from her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this fits in perfect with that. So I'd like to spend a determination to challenge that value and give +2 advantages. I'd also like to, that's 2 successes. I'd also like to spend 3 momentum to add 2 die.
Okay.
And there we go. 3.
I wasn't able to add any.
You spent 3 momentum, 1, 2, and 3, and challenged it. So you're using a determination, right? That gives you the automatic 1.
Automatic 1. That does change the math on the successes, though, because the determination counts as a die for the purposes of momentum cost. So that actually costs 6 momentum total. Or no, it costs 5 momentum. It's a weird niche.
No, you're right.
It's a weird, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5 successes and a complication. Difficulty was, I said 3, right? So that brings it down. You get back 2 momentum and the complication. So before we get to the complication, the panel shorts out, but the entire row of panels short out. Go ahead and roll damage. You will also both be taking this damage.
All right. How much damage?
I'd say it's 3 plus security. Let's say it's a total of
5?
7. Let's say it's a total of 7.
Okay. Beefy roll.
Oh
no.
Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is so many, Brian. So many.
The whole ship just explodes.
The whole what's that?
That fills out my stress track. Boom. That deals an injury. Deals 2 injuries, I think.
Does deal 2 injuries. You do have momentum though, so you could avoid injury.
I can avoid the injury. I don't think I can avoid both of them though. So I will.
You avoid the injuries for the round is how it works, or for the action is how it works.
Okay, then in that case, I will spend 2 momentum to avoid that injury. Still take the stress.
Yeah, you're still maxed out on stress, but you don't take the injury. So Tana, you are also taking 9.
Okay.
And I take a complication. I'm going to take plasma burn.
Yep, that works out. Where is Tana here? Let's help walk you through the damage you just got suffered on.
Oh no.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stress.
Mm-hmm.
So you are at 0 stress. You took 5 damage above your resistance, which is 0, which causes an injury. And you took an additional. You took your entire stress track, which counts as your stress track ending, essentially, which counts as a second injury. 2 injuries is death in this game. So, that said, I don't know that there's a whole lot of ways for you to solve this unless there's 1 momentum. It takes 2 momentum to avoid an injury.
Yeah, you give threat to do.
You can give me threat to basically have a momentum to avoid injury, which would keep you alive but injured. I don't think you have. You're a secondary character, so I don't think you have any values or determination at the moment. because I don't think you've gotten far enough along for that yet.
You have said in the past supporting characters get determination, but I think, you need a value.
You need a value, and you don't have it yet. So it's one of those things that the secondary characters get it when they progress a little bit. So you have 3 choices, or you have 2 choices. You can give me a threat and avoid the injury and stay alive, or you can burn to death and die.
I would choose the
threat.
All right.
Choice.
Good choice. Good choice. So the whole wall explodes. The whole line erupts into a plasma fire. The 4 Romulans all go down. As do Mills and not Mills. As does Yezabeth and Tana. You have to take a complication, right, Brian?
Yep.
So you're also taking plasma burns there, Tana.
Yeah. Part of avoiding the injury is taking a complication.
Yeah, and the complication, I believe, makes things more difficult.
Yeah.
So essentially, it just adds difficulty to almost everything you want to do.
Well, it counts as a disadvantage to anything it'll apply to.
Right, which essentially is adding 1 difficulty for the simplest possible explanation. So you're both burned pretty badly. That whole wall is now on fire, and the hallway lights are all now flickering and kind of gone out. So it's dark in this hall, not dark, but dark and lit by fire, green plasma fire in this hallway now. Mills is down on the ground. She's okay. She managed to avoid she was on the other side of the room, so she didn't get hit, as is Ambrose. But you're pretty much, that's the scene. You've got 3 injured people, 1 who's actually injured, like can't act, 2 who can still act but are injured, and Ambrose, who is still pretty much okay. And 4 burned to death Romulans.
Yezabeth will put her arm over her mouth, like to protect, and like it's got a huge gash in it. She'll go over to Mills and she'll say, "Captain, you've got to go ahead. You might be able to get past the fire and get to her. We can stay here and beam out from here. I don't think we'll make it past the fire."
Hold this position, Yezbeth, Tana, Mills. Hold this position. See if you can find some way to put out these fires. Fires aboard ship are dangerous to everybody. I'll move ahead, rendezvous back here, and then we can get out. Stay safe.
All right.
Good luck.
All right. You begin moving forward. Yeah, that works. Ambrose, you move forward. There's 4 very crispy Romulans, and then the door beyond is currently locked. It hasn't been difficult to open the locks before, but the door going into the brig is locked. It's also very hot right here.
I have no way of knowing if there's anybody on the other side, and the whole rest of my away team is huddled together in tripod position, holding each other upright back down the hallway. Ambrose is not an infiltration specialist. He is a soldier. So I think we're going to go about this the old-fashioned way. Federation phasers are best known for their versatility in the field with their 36 settings you can set them on. Mm-hmm. But Romulan disruptors do have a higher damaging output. The trade-off, of course, means that they don't have much of a stun setting, but they do a hell of a lot of damage. I want to pick up one of the Romulans' disruptors, set that to maximum, and just light up the door. I just want to blow straight through it.
Okay. You know for a fact you do not need it to be on the maximum level because that might blow a hole through multiple parts of the ship. So,
okay.
Because even the disruptor would do that, or even the phaser would do that. But you set it up, and your action in this first round of combat will be to open the door. You fire the disruptor, and the door basically just disintegrates. There's a slight explosion and some shrapnel goes flying into the room. One of the 4 guards inside the room takes some shrapnel to the face and goes down. There are 3 others.
Can
Go ahead.
Can I use one of the crispy Romulans as a body shield?
Or any other cover, like consoles.
You can use cover. I wouldn't say not one of the Romulans because they're probably still on fire. And plasma fires burn super hot. But you could stand. You could definitely have some cover.
Okay.
But the 3 that are remaining still are also behind cover, which I'm just going to say it's a +1 cover for their difficulty to be hit.
So that basically just gives them resistance.
Yeah. So they have resistance of essentially they have resistance of 2 now, as opposed to 1.
Yeah.
You still, this is the first, that was your first action in that combat. If you want to fire again, you would have to use your thing. The combat ended when you killed all 4 of them. That was it. Now it's a new combat round. I just want to make sure that's clear too. So you have the ability to take a second action if you want to use that ability.
Can I use quick to action on myself?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There are no other characters in the combat, so the players get to go in.
And it ignores the normal cost of retain your initiative. So as long as it's the first round of a combat, I just automatically get to do it. So I'm going to quick to action myself. And I think with that, because I was just using the Romulan Disruptor as a demolitions tool, I'm just going to toss that aside and bring up my phaser rifle again.
Okay.
Still set to charged wide beam, and I'm going to take a shot at these 3.
All right.
Because charged wide beam is just so overpowered.
It is pretty powerful.
Okay.
So
Bolt security.
Your difficulty to hit them is 2. They have 2 resistance.
Okay. Bolt security, no focus, unfortunately. Would I be within 1 minor action movement of getting into melee for next round?
Yes. Your minor action, however, is charge.
Is charge this particular round. Yes. Okay. Then that is all I need. Control, security, no focus.
Yep.
Bolt security. Go.
2 successes.
That's the 2 I needed.
Hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
And actually, because I do have bold, I'll go ahead and re-roll that other one. That is another success on top of that. So that's an extra momentum I gain. Then I press this for damage on my phaser rifle and continue to roll low on my phaser rifle.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is not enough. However, if you do have momentum, so you can either use that momentum to re-roll that roll or use that momentum to do a piercing of 2, and that would take everybody out.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll pierce.
Oh, wait. Yes, it's ignore 2 resistance, which is how they have. So with that, your momentum, and you drop off the remaining 3 because combat in Star Trek is just like that fast, especially when there's area effect weapons. Beyond the smoke and debris that has filled the room, you can see into it, and there are a number of doors, a number of the walls, the cells lining the walls. The cells are using energy shields, just like normal brig type stuff. There's a console in the center of the room that has some debris and a bent in half backwards Romulan lying over top of it in the center of the room. And there are a number of prisoners in the cells. It's pretty foggy, so you have to go in the room to see beyond that.
Right. Yeah.
Also,
it's
also becoming quite toxic in this hallway due to the atmospheric, the radiation from the plasma burns, from the plasma, as well as the just the heat and fire and smoke.
Right. Now I'm gonna quickly tear off the left cuff of my my uniform, and I'm gonna put that down over my mouth and nose.
Okay.
And I'm going to head to that console. I'm gonna grab that Romulan by the back of his collar and just throw him behind me. Take a look at the console and take a look around at all these cells. I assume, as you said, the force fields on these cells are on a separate circuit from the ones that
Correct.
Yesbeth disabled.
Yep.
Can I see my princess?
Yes. She, as you walk into the room, she stands and moves towards the energy field. When she catches eyes with you and you guys exchange your first look, she just smiles and took you long enough.
It decided to take the scenic route. I knew you could handle yourself. There's a nice, pretty nebula outside.
Well, if I got a room with a window, I could enjoy it.
Well, let's see if we can upgrade your accommodations. I can't read this.
Oh. She starts helping talk you. She tries to help talk you through it. While you're doing that, Yezebeth and or Tana or both, you both know that plasma fires are extremely bad. Clearly, whatever has been done to the ship, the automatic fire suppression systems are not coming online. You have the opportunity, if you want, to try to put the fire out, or you can just let it burn. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. If you want to do any other actions, you guys still have full actions you can do. You're just at a complication.
I don't think Yezebeth will say anything about stopping it.
Okay. Tana, any thoughts?
Ambrose did say put out the fire.
Oh, you
Tana
did.
will try and put it out.
Terrifying.
Ambrose did say something
Fire
along the lines of
bad.
possibly fire bad, but he didn't say put it out.
No, Ambrose said find a way to put out this fire.
Yeah, I think
fire is a danger to everybody on the ship.
You did say that, so. All right.
Okay. Yezebeth will also help trying to put it out.
Yezebeth is clearly thinking long and hard about whether or not she wants to put it out, and then Tana jumps up to try to put the fire out, and you guys can both do that. So with that, your difficulty is normally going to be 2 because of your complication. It's at 3, and the roll using the remaining systems that are there, you're basically bypassing the opening up one of the side panels and manually pulling the lever to activate the suppression system. It would be an engineering roll.
Okay. Reason?
Either reason or daring is fine.
I have a focus in environmental systems. Would that apply?
Sure. Who's taking the lead? Because I think Tana was the one that jumped up first.
Fair.
Your thing would still apply, but
yeah. Do you want to take the lead?
Sure. I don't have any focuses that. Sure.
That's all right. Just makes it harder. So you're going to be rolling either daring or reason and engineering, and you'll be assisted by Yezebeth.
Okay.
Excuse me, who does have a thing.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have any momentum.
You do not have any momentum.
Okay.
You can give threat.
You can give threat. I have a lot of threat. I still need to use it. I haven't had a lot of opportunities because you guys kill all my guys.
I don't think I want to give you more threat.
Oh, complication. And 1 there. So that's 3. So you succeed. All right. Another complication. It's an easy one. The hallway begins to fill with the fire suppressant, and it is putting the fire out quite quickly. But it is filling the hallway with fire suppressant that is not really very good for anyone.
Almost just as dangerous.
Almost just as dangerous. The 3 of you, you, Mills, and Tana, Mills, and Yezebeth are all safe. Ambrose is safe where he is. You guys cannot traverse that path, that hallway, while that is going on. It will require a damage control team to clear that out. So you are now separated for surezies. You will not be able to, Ambrose, you will not be able to get back to them, and they will not be able to get to you.
Yezebeth will calm. Captain, the fire suppressant has completely blocked the way. I think we should beam back to the ship. Beam back to the shuttle if you've got. Did you find her?
I found her. I'm working on it now.
All right. Well, hold tight.
Did we need to bring pattern enhancers to get out? Did we need to get to a specific point to get out?
You guys have the
what's
armband
our
pattern enhancers. We discussed
we
that
have
last time. You have the
we have the what?
armband ones.
Okay.
The ones that Data and them wear when they're boarding ships and stuff like that. You've got those, and you did bring an extra one, as I recall.
The later, more sophisticated one, so we don't need to bring along the like 6 different camera tripods to set up in a circle.
Right. These are just the ones that go on your arm and are basic pattern self pattern enhancers. They use them in a couple episodes of Next Gen.
So we can beam out whenever.
Correct. It's just a roll for
Okay.
Tong. Tong has to roll for each individual, not individual person, but each individual transport.
We moved into a deeper, more difficult area of the ship. Okay.
Yes. And it's going to be more difficult from where you are than from where they are.
Right.
So, because your area is shielded.
Okay, the 3 of you backtrace as much as you can without putting yourselves in too much danger and get off the ship. If I can't get back to you, there's no reason for you to stay here any longer. I'll make my way out of the shielded area and we'll meet back aboard.
Aye.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mills swears repeatedly and says things that I'm sure Evelyn would say about not going anywhere without the captain, and then is dragged off anyway. So the 3 of you are making your way back while Ambrose is trying to make this computer hack. So go ahead and do the hack. She's talked it through as much as she can, which will make the difficulty 3.
Okay. All right. Actually, would internal force fields are part of tactical, aren't they?
Generally.
Yeah, and I have shipboard tactical systems as a focus. It's Federation, but with Toshiri's help, do you think that focus would apply?
Sure.
Okay. So what am I rolling?
Either daring or reason and engineering with your tactical systems as your thing. Security I would also apply security. Could possibly work.
Okay.
What's that, Brian?
Oh, I said it is a security system.
It is a security system, which is why I thought of that. I'm like, technically it should be engineering to disable it, but it is a security system, so security does make sense.
Yeah, it's a security system. So I think I will go daring security.
Yeah.
Why
not get that full 15?
Yeah. I was trying to find some way to talk myself down to reason and engineering, which is a big old 8.
Right. The worst thing you can do.
Yes. But I think with Toshiri walking me through this, we're developing very quickly a shorthand that, can help us communicate pretty efficiently. And though it's in the wrong language,
she does warn you that the wrong system, if you activate the wrong system, or if you activate this incorrectly, it will activate the extermination protocol on everything in this room. You, the people in all these little cells, everything. So don't mess it up. I have increased the complication range by 3.
We're gonna go daring security then. Definitely, he's using his understanding of how this system would be laid out and how he's looking at it from the standpoint of how he would set this up, or how he would want his engineering team to set up a containment, and knowing that it's also a potential kill box, rather than trying to look at it necessarily from an engineer standpoint. So he's relying on Toshiri's instructions and mostly going by feel and his own tactical understanding. So
I have increased your complication range.
Yes, to what?
17, 18, 19, 20.
20, so that is 4.
Yeah.
Focus, I have a focus. I am using security, so bold. Since I'm buying a dice with bold, we don't have any momentum left. Oh boy. Okay. What did you say the difficulty was?
3.
Rock 3 dice on a 15.
You do have the option for determination.
Yes, I'm looking at my values. I really should just have a value that is Toshiri. I say this every time Toshiri comes up because she has not been brought up all that much to the point where I felt like I could give myself a value specifically for her. But
since you did express that you wanted to do that, you can change values between sessions. That's a thing you can do with just between sessions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think you can add one too with a arc point, can't you?
You can, yeah. You can also switch them out.
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't given Ambrose an arc point in a while.
Yeah, he's gained them. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if you've spent them on him or not, but he has gained them.
Yeah. Okay.
We talked about you picking up a value that encompassed Toshiri, but we couldn't figure out a way to write it.
We did have this conversation before. Yeah, so it was my intent to give myself a value. We just never...
My Romulan princess.
Yeah, I think that was generally what I was going to go with. And Jeff was like, no, you need to make it more nuanced than that.
Yeah. But in this instance, whatever it would happen to be, I'm okay with you taking it now for the situation because we did discuss it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would almost certainly apply here, however we worded it, it would almost certainly apply here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should you decide that anyway?
I'll again try to come up with a better way to phrase that, but I will use my determination to rescue Toshiri. So that is an automatic
2. Counts as a die, but doesn't mean you can't buy any more. Well, you could buy more dice with threat, but you've got an extra die that you're rolling 2. You've already got 2 successes. You got to get 1 success on 2 dice.
Okay. And I already gave you a threat for bold.
18 or 19.
You'd have to give him a threat because the determination counts as 1.
The bold gives me a threat without giving him extra additional die, does it? Or does it?
It does, yeah. It costs the same in threat as it does in
All right, so it would count as 2 threat. Which is
sure, why not?
Situation.
Okay. Yeah. Now I assume getting the complication doesn't mean
immediate death.
We instantly die.
No.
Yeah. Especially if we succeed. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna roll. What do we got? 5 successes. Don't mess with my princess.
6 successes.
6 successes.
That's 6 successes.
6 successes. All right, which gives you 3 momentum, right? 1, 2, and 3 momentum. The door comes down on the cell, or the energy field comes down on the cell. And she steps out, and you get the distinct impression that she is overjoyed. I mean, not the distinct impression, the emotional connection there. She is overjoyed. She does not run to you, though, as that is not a Romulan thing to do, although you can feel that she is fighting the urge to do so.
Well, Ambrose is quickly making his way over to her. He's not skipping through a field of flowers to do it, but mission has been accomplished. He is quickly making his way over to Toshiri. Does it look like she needs assistance? I think just out of rescue mission habit, he's going to go over and just kind of like put an arm around to stabilize, not necessarily like affection, but stabilize.
As was evidenced in, or as is consistent with a vision that you had earlier, she does have some welts and bruises. She has been treated poorly, but she is otherwise mostly fine. Like she can move and.
Can you walk? We need to get out of here, and the way we came is a bit cut off right now.
I can walk. I don't know how we're going to get out past all of that, but I can walk.
I'm going to reach down, pick up another disruptor, and hand it over to her.
She quickly checks it over and, make sure it's good.
Anyone else here we should spring?
She looks around.
We don't have long.
I don't think we have time. You get the empathic hint that she does not really want to rescue any of them.
Yeah, they're not important.
They're not important. They might be important, but they might be her enemies. So
yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. Do I see anybody of note?
No, you don't recognize anybody. No, they're all Romulan dissidents of various types. They're in some way likely to be outspoken against the state.
Okay. But I don't see any Federation species. No. I don't see any Klingons.
No, they're all Romulans.
Yeah. No. The princess is finally in this tower. We're getting the hell out of here.
Right. Leave the other Koopas there. Whilst you guys are getting ready to while you're doing all that, Yazabeth and Tana are helping Mills head down the hallway. Do you guys want to head down the hallway and try to get somewhere else, or are you just going to try to beam out?
If we got a pretty good idea of like where would be the quickest way out, we're mainly just trying to get to the best transporter area.
Theoretically, the best place to go would be back where you came. You're probably not going to be able to make that because of the climb up the stairs and all that stuff. Second best spot would be back past the door with the 5 stormtroopers you guys stopped earlier, but you could get to the door and probably beam out from there. That'd probably be a little bit easier.
Probably not that far because they probably got the door by now.
Okay.
Maybe we should just go leave from here.
You guys start making your way a bit, and as you get down the corridor, you can hear a bunch more guards coming your way. You'd either have to fight them or you can try to beam out where you're at.
We'll just have to hope and tongue skills. Can you get in touch with the shuttle?
Can I?
Sure.
All right, she's going to
I assume we would have set up like three beeps for rescue us now, please, or something like that.
Something, or you could just contact them. Either way, there's an emergency signal and there's a less than emergency signal.
Yeah, I did 3 beeps.
All right. Ton activates the emergency recall signal. You see the armbands begin to light up as if the transporter is trying to connect to them, and Tong can go ahead and make his roll. The difficulty on this from where you are is 4.
All right.
And I am going to spend 1 threat to make it 5.
All right.
Okay. Difficulty 5. Normal complication range.
I don't want to vaporize anybody.
Okay. All right.
I will use the complication range when I go to beam the other two back.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Focus on transporters.
Yep. You do have 3 momentum, which will get you 2 dice.
Yeah. I should probably use that if I somehow need 5 successes to be able to do this.
Could use them all. 1, 2.
Yeah. Take all 3 of them.
Gives you 2 additional dice.
I'm not like Brian. I feel dirty when I use all the momentum.
No, that's what it's there for.
No, that's true. That's true. Okay. 4 dice with a focus. And Tong's Tong. I guess I just got to roll this. I'm always so nervous rolling as Tong. And he does so good every time.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a success. The 3 of you begin to dematerialize. You feel a little wonky as the patterns begin to dwindle. But the next thing you know, you are standing in front of Tong on the small transporter pad, and Tong is not even sweating. He's like, whatever, I had this. There was a slight power fluctuation, but whatever, I got this. The 3 of you are back aboard the shuttlecraft. You also quickly note that you are about 25 meters from the wing of a warbird that is moving.
None of you have pointy ears or green blood right now, right? There was some nearby Romulans and things got a little mussy towards the middle of that beam out. You're all... No, we're fine. We're fine.
I sure hope not.
Yeah, Elizabeth will say, please don't say there's more issues.
He went to rescue the. We got separated.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
We lit ourselves on fire and got separated.
Yes, they are injured.
Yeah.
One of them has a disruptor bolt into her chest area, and the other two have pretty significant plasma burns.
Real field trip.
I think regardless of the injury, Yezabeth is going to go towards go to the the operations console.
Okay.
And try and get a fix on the ship.
And Tana's going to go over to wherever
Mills
as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you going to try to do any medical on Mills, or just going to be comforting?
I'm going to try to do some medical on Mills.
All right. First things first, let's go ahead and have Yezabeth see if she can find the ship. It is not, you can tell immediately it is not where it was supposed to be.
Okay. Well, I think that's the main thing I wanted to know.
All
right. Oh no, they're not at the rendezvous point.
We sent a communication, didn't we?
Not yet. You were going to wait until I think you got the all clear signal from. Was it? If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but you were going to wait until you got the all clear signal from the shuttle before you told them the new rendezvous point. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we were going to wait until the shuttle, we got an idea of the shuttle succeeded, and then we were going to send them a new rendezvous point.
Yeah. So the shuttle hasn't sent back the message yet. So the Europa hasn't sent the message yet.
That's not good, Lieutenant. I can't see too far in the soup. I have no idea where they are, if they're even out there.
I don't think we have a choice, but can we send a tight beam transmission, maybe using the nebula?
Tight beam only works if we know where they're at.
I don't know. Do you have any ideas? She turns to the communications officer.
Without tight beam, your options would pretty much be a broad spectrum, like just send it out in the world and see where it gets.
Would be giving away our position. We're pretty concealed. She motions to the glowing green nacelle 5 meters away.
Do we want to send that transmission now, or do we want to wait till we got the captain?
We should definitely wait till we have the captain, I think.
Because I can send the transmission, but it'll get dicey.
Well, Jeff, you keep moving us away from our tactical map.
Whoops, that's the bridge. Hang on. Because I have all the momentum is on the other sheet on the other screen.
Gotcha.
So we are now. Get rid of that. We are now roughly here. This ship has begun moving this way as well. To rendezvous.
Okay, we're just about in range of one of these tachyon deployments. We could ride here. This is Jesus speaking, of course. We could keep lampreying to the underneath of this bird here until we get the captain back and hopefully hear something from the Europa. And if we don't, we can set off the charge and conceal ourselves within the nebula until something changes. It's not the best plan, but it's all I got right now.
Yes, but we're not in agreement.
Not all nod.
All right. Back to I'll go back. I'll leave you guys on that one. I'll do this one. All right. Back aboard the Romulan ship. Europa, I think, is still kind of hanging out, doing what it's doing. Mm-hmm. Unless you had something else you wanted to do with your exo, Kendall. You don't have to. Just
I'm not really sure what to do.
That's fair.
I think right now we're just waiting for something to happen with the shuttle.
I think so. So that sounds good. All right. Ambrose, you and Toshiri, I think I have a picture for Toshiri somewhere, are in the room. you really don't have any easy escape. What would you like to do? Here is Tosha Reed's picture.
Dina Mayer. Dizzy.
Yep. What you gonna
do? Okay. Okay, we need a way towards the exterior of this ship as quickly as possible. How well do you know these vessels?
I know them very well.
Okay, well, we have the ship slowly burning from the inside out right outside that door. So we need another way.
There might be an access panel behind. She gestures over to the in-room replication system. There might be a small conduit behind that, but it would be very narrow. It's not even a Jeffries tube. It's just wiring conduits. It would get us out of the room, though. We can go down one deck, come out the ceiling panels. She kind of gestures like, that's the best I've got.
That's the best we got then. Gonna help her over and rip off whatever access panel needs to be ripped off.
You guys start gutting as much of that as you can, and you can
I take out my mech-leth and jam it in there and just wrench things away,
hauling things out of there. You manage to get it open enough, and you can get, a tight squeeze through there. Like for Ambrose, she could probably fit through without too much trouble, but for Ambrose, it's going to be a pretty tight squeeze. Obviously, I'm not going to have you get stuck or anything, but
we're army crawling.
Yeah. So you guys wiggle your way in there and are pushing through. You'll probably have to drop the disruptor rifle to get through, or not just drop it, but it would have to be held in front of you if nothing else, which can make it harder to travel.
Mm-hmm.
You manage to get into that corridor, or into that little tunnel there, and she unhooks or she takes the disruptor that you handed her and just blasts a hole in the tile, the ceiling of the floor below.
See, this is why we get along so well.
Right.
I don't even need to tell her what to do.
Right. She then kind of drops out onto the ground with a bit of a huff. It's kind of it's a 10-foot, 12-foot drop. And then you manage to do the same. You're now on a deck that you guys have not been on yet. It is, well, there should have been 2 guards there, but they're not anymore because I forgot that. But, no, because you're in a hallway. It's not where I thought it was. Okay, so you're in a hallway that is mirrored to the one above you, except it's just a straight hallway. There's no room right here. It's hallway goes in either direction to T junctions. The rooms, the doors along this hallway appear to be like various science labs, like lab 1, lab 2, lab 4, geology lab. This corridor, she tells you, like, this being the science department, I don't think we're going to find a lot of guards here. We can probably make it to make it a little ways. We won't be able to get to any of the turbo lifts, but we can get to, out of the main shielded area.
Is there a transporter associated with any of these labs or in any of the nearby holding areas? Maintenance base.
Well, there's probably a transporter assembly in the bio labs for transporting specimens directly into the laboratory.
Do you think you can bypass that and tie that into a Federation shuttle?
I suppose. I can certainly try. This way. And she leads you down.
We'll make that plan A. Plan B is we start busting through bulkheads till we find the outside.
She leads you over to the you guys go down the hallway a little ways to the bio lab, and the door opens. There's no one in there. The lights are all turned off. There's no specimens in there. It's a deactivated lab, or at least not an active lab. She heads over to the transporter system and starts working to tie it all together. Tong, you are seeing that there is a transporter signal attempting to connect to to another transporter in the area. It appears to be coming from the Romulan ship, and it is just kind of like looking around to find the thing to target to. It is broadcasting a mixture of a Federation and Romulan signal. Do you let it tie in, or do you resist it? I guess is the question. Knowing what it is, you probably don't resist it.
I believe we have a shuttle full of lieutenants right now.
Yes.
Lieutenants. I don't really know who's in charge right now. There's a combination Romulan Federation signal trying to. I'm going to go ahead and let it because I'm pretty sure that's the captain. But if not, you might point your phasers in that direction.
Put it on.
All right.
Put it on. Isn't he rescuing a Romulan or something?
Yep.
That's the plan. Okay, I hope this is them.
All right. You get a connection, which will lower your difficulty to 3, because you have the connected transporters. 1, 2, 3, 4 threat to your complication range. The likely complication from this is that the Warbirds will know exactly where you are.
Okay. 17, 18, 19, 20?
Should be. Yes. 16
to 20.
Should
17 to 20?
Well, let's just do it 16 to 20. So you succeed or you fail. That's your answer here.
Okay. This is Tong yet again. We've spent all of our momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But your difficulty is lower.
It is lower.
Someone can assist you also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth will try and refine the signal using sensors.
Okay.
And this is Tong's main purpose in this away mission, in this whole ordeal. And he has the value, I have to do everything to live up to the confidence others have in me. And I don't think there's any better representation of this than I need to save my captain.
Sure. Yeah, you got the last one killed, right? So this one you got to save.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. I can't kill another captain.
All right. So you're gonna throw your momentum on the throw your
yes.
Value.
Yep.
Brian's got 1, so that's your 3.
Okay, so I'm not going to worry about threat or momentum. I'm just going to roll my regular 2 dice
and hope you don't get a complication. There you go.
Get another 3 successes. So that's 4, 5, 6.
6. Difficulty 3.
Oh, man.
So you've got your 3 momentum back. 1, 2, 3. Elizabeth, as the signal begins transporting you, you see some slippage in the beam, and you start to tweak and refine it as Tong finishes the transport cycle. By tweaking the beam and everything else, you've managed to keep the shuttle hidden as well.
Is that another 2 successes there from the ship, Brian?
Yep, that's the shuttle. Mm-hmm.
That's another 2 momentum.
It finally comes through.
Yes. When it's not Europa, it comes through. All right. So you've got 5 momentum back on your list. I'm down to 4 threat. Everyone is back aboard the shuttlecraft. Toshari, when you beam aboard, looks at the state of the people that you have here. Looks at Mills and Elizabeth and Tana. It's like, well, it's flattering so many people came out to see me. I trust it wasn't too daunting for any of you.
We were throwing a whole party, going away bash for you leaving your.
Yeah, the plasma birds are party favor. Do you want one?
I'll pass, but thank you. I appreciate the offer. We should tend to those wounds, though.
That may have to wait, Captain. The Europa isn't at the rendezvous point. There must have been a change of plans.
Yes, I notice we're about arm's length away from the business end of a starship right now. Why are we not moving into rendezvous?
The Europa isn't in rendezvous either. I think we'll need to open communications channel.
Okay.
Will the tachyon immersion by these buoys interfere with communications?
Absolutely. Absolutely, they will. They will interfere with everything. If you're within them when it happens. Or if
We
you're trying to
won't
broadcast into or out of them.
we won't get far if they know where we are and where we're going. I'd say we double back, take a pot shot on one of these warp nacelles since we're so close, and pop that buoy as soon as we're out of range. Make our way back into the nebula and hopefully find a way to get picked up.
Toshari grabs a couple of med kits and starts tending to Tana and Mills.
All right, no objections. Make it happen.
Send off that message.
Wait until we clear the tachyon immersion.
All right. So you're going to do a two-stepper here. You're going to move and fire, right? You're going to move out from underneath the wing and then shoot at the cell because you're right there. But you don't want to shoot it. You really don't want to shoot it while you're this close to it. But you want to get a little bit of distance, shoot the cell, and then
so they're
boogie back into the nebula.
They're continuing out of the nebula. Basically, I want to have us sort of peel back so that they move forward. We move back a bit,
right?
So that they move pretty much right into the sweet spot of that buoy. We start backing up out,
right? And
just as we're at the far end of weapons range and towards the tail end of the tachyon blast zone, we'll take a pot shot just to see if we can disable something, rabbit out below the buoy and send out the send out the comm, the transmission, hopefully while they're all still jumbled up.
Okay. Gisa can go ahead and give a flight roll, and then Brian, you are going to be weapons, I think.
Okay. With Copa? Yeah.
With Yezabeth.
Oh,
because you're in the shuttle
okay.
still.
Sure. All right. Fair enough. Well, you know what? I've still got that advantage.
You also have the complication of the burns, so those cancel each other out.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Rolling for.
Go ahead and roll. Gisa, go ahead and roll to get out of there. Difficulty is just 2. I'm sorry, it's 2. It's fine. Yeah. It's actually 4 because of the whatever, and the difficulty on the weapons is 3 because of the thing. So 1 success from the weapons, right? The ship can assist too.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember if shuttles get advantage on bigger ships. I know bigger ships have disadvantages against shooting shuttles, and I think shuttles.
I think there is if it's a 2-size category difference, but in this case does apply.
Yeah. So
you'd get an advantage from that.
Yeah.
I don't know where the shuttles are crafted at. Where's the shuttles at?
It's in the complement. Hold on. I got it. Weapons plus security on the shuttle.
That's
nice.
Oh, coming through.
Right. All right. Give me the quick flight check, and then we'll do the narration.
Yeah. This is definitely a fighter craft maneuver we're pulling off here.
Sure.
I'm taking my focus in that. The one time I'm ever able to use fighter craft as a focus. Okay, Darren Khan. We don't have any momentum. Do we? We're actually on the. Okay. Yeah. Now we're on the tactical screen, which doesn't have the chips.
You have 5 momentum.
Okay. Yes, I will spend. What do I need? 4 successes for this?
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 3 to roll 4 dice.
All right.
Because we got to get out of here and hopefully generate some momentum. Normal complication range?
Normal complication range, yep.
All right. Go.
Ooh.
There is nothing secondary about my secondary characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Difficulty was 4, so you got 2 momentum. You move out of the area, and then Yezabeth fires the phasers. Go ahead and roll damage on those phasers.
plus security.
You quickly maneuver past the pylon out from underneath the main the main ship.
Actually, that's not correct.
Narrowly avoiding the second ship that's behind you, as Yezebeth locks target and fires the phasers and does 1, 2.
There we go. The last one is.
Oh boy!
I don't know why it didn't.
It's
Fire all phaser bangs.
it's still going.
It's only 5 dice.
2, 3, 4, 5 damage to the ship. It's got resistance and all that stuff too. So, you managed to hit the nacelle, which flashes a bunch and begins to vent plasma. A quick perusal of your sensors shows that it still has warp, but it's definitely going to be limited in maneuverability. You've definitely hit it and done some damage. You are now behind the second ship and just out of the range of the tachyon buoy that you guys can detonate if you want to. Two of the main Romulan Warbirds are in range of that buoy. The third Romulan Warbird, as you're exiting the area, you're beginning to see come around, and it is coming up behind you, but so far has not, killed you. So that's a plus.
I feel like this is a good signal to the USS Europa. Can we write in like big damn heroes?
Probably. You're gonna set off the buoy first?
Yeah.
All right. The buoy goes off. There's a huge bright flash, and then tachyons flood the region. The sensors on the shuttlecraft go crazy. You're not in the area, but your sensors are like, whoa, crap, that's a lot of tachyons. And they're heading our way. The ships, the shuttle sensors and all that are still fine. You board Europa on the bridge. There is a bright flash, and your sensors go crazy, and you are detecting just a crap load of tachyons. Visually, just out of the visualization from the main screen, you can see that the two ships have been enveloped in this bright light, and there's a third ship that is moving, that is maneuvering away from the same side of bright light, and heading to a different exit point. That's probably a pretty good signal that the captain and them are free, because you didn't set that off and someone else did.
Commander, we could take a pot shot at them while we pick up the shuttle. Should we launch torpedoes?
It's back on to you, Commander Brooks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of whether this is a good idea or not, because I've never...
Sure. It's your first command.
There's really no downside, I don't think.
Not really. The only downside is you don't do any damage to them and they know where you are. But
they're going to know where we are anyway.
They're likely to know where you are anyway.
Yes, and send that communication off to the
shuttle, giving them a rendezvous point.
All right. With that, go ahead and give me, you don't need a maneuver check for this, but you do need to give me a weapons check. To fire on the Romulan Warbird difficulty is 3 because of the +1 difficulty for the Nebula.
assisting.
What's that?
Since I'm giving the order.
You can assist, yes.
Is Koba finally launching his torpedoes?
He is finally launching his torpedoes.
And we get a bonus because of ambush tactics from...
Is it presence in command?
Yes.
Do we have any momentum? The problem with doing it this way is I don't know how much momentum we have.
Right. You have 4 momentum.
Spend one momentum.
1 momentum spent.
Is the ship rolling?
The ship does get to roll.
What does that roll?
It would be weapons
plus
security.
Security, yeah.
Cool. Ship is always focused, right?
Ship is always focused. 1. So that's 3 successes and a complication from the captain or the acting captain there. which I don't have a complication for that, but I will try to come up with one. You fire the torpedoes and they go careening towards the ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, high yield area or spread.
+2 for ambush tactics.
You didn't set them a high yielded, did you?
I mean,
it's just an effect, isn't it? It's just an effect.
Wait, we could have used we could have used quantum torpedoes. Yeah. So the high yield means it. Okay. So we do more than 5 damage to it. Well, its shields are down, right?
Its shields are down.
So
if it has one or more breach with high yield, it incurs an additional breach.
Yeah. So it takes 2 breaches, which means it takes the damaged condition for assuming its scale is 5 or higher.
Yes, it's 6.
Yeah. So it would take the damage condition, not destroyed, but 2 breaches means that it is damaged.
Yep. So you hit the ship, the torpedoes lay into it. You can see big chunks of it being torn apart. There are definitely breaches in the hull. Romulans floating in space, being killed by the void. But it is still intact, and it will begin wielding around towards you. Ambrose, so company, you can see that happen. So
we got a complication there, right?
You did.
So how close is our poor little shuttle to that exploding Romulan ship?
They were attacking a different ship, so you're not that close to that one.
Okay, all right. I tried to softball you something there.
I know. I was going to have the complication just be that it's going to give them a bonus to attack back because they have a firm lock on where you are. So
we also do not have shields.
You also do not have shields, and they also do have torpedoes. So
yeah.
I am going to spend a threat to increase my dice rollings. I had a ship over here. Where's it at? Give me that. I had some stats over here. Give me the ship. Oh, yeah, it's not actually what I wanted. It's just the page number. So they roll 3d6, the 3d whatever's and fire. 1, 2. That's a hit.
Ooh.
That's a hit even with the difficulty because the difficulty does increase for them as well. Oh, well, it doesn't because they have the complication. So it's a hit plus a momentum for them. And that is roll.
Well, it's difficulty 2 to hit, right?
Normally difficulty 2 to hit. And they get a +1 for the nebula being difficult, but they lose.
Right.
They get that complication. They lose that complication from your.
Gotcha.
They got the advantage because of your thing. So difficulty is just 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and are they firing with a plasma torpedo?
Yes.
Okay, plasma torpedo is 3 damage and 3 damage plus security, and it has persistent 8.
Right. So it's 8d6. Yikes. 2, 3, 4, 5. Fortunately for you, it does 5 damage.
Okay.
Which is not terrible. You do suffer a breach.
Yep.
Who wants to roll the breach? I don't know. I don't have a breach chart in front of me, unfortunately.
I do. Somebody mind rolling the d20? I got the chart.
I can do the d20.
All right, go ahead.
Appears to be a 4.
Okay. 4 is engines.
Oh, nice. How nice of me. All right. So, returning fire is the Romulan ship that fires a giant red or green frazzly ball that impacts on the left nacelle. The ship rocks back and forth. Panels explode, and the damage control team reports that engines have taken a hit. I don't think at 1 you suffer any real consequences, though, right?
Well, you suffer an impact. The impact, all tasks assisted by the ship's engines, increase in difficulty and have complication of 1.
Okay, so there you go. the shuttlecraft can now go since the Europa has gone, the Romulans have gone, ship can go, shuttle can go. You see the exchange happening as Europa is making a beeline towards a rendezvous point that is now coming across your console. There, like you've been sent a coordinate for rendezvous.
Yeah, Ambrose is going to turn and look out the window. Quit firing at my ship. Okay, Gisa. So we got a communication from the Europa.
Yep.
For a rendezvous.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gisa is going to respond. Do we have a name for this shuttlecraft, Brian? What's this shuttle called?
We
did have a name for one. Go ahead though.
The Jove.
Jove.
Yeah.
Europa Bridge. This is shuttlecraft Jove. We are reading your rendezvous. We are coming in hot. Please position for a quick retrieval. We will try to create a smoke screen so you don't get hit again. And I want to have Gisa, line up the shot, shoot the impulse engines into, full gear, shoot off towards that rendezvous point, start to arc towards optimal docking vector, and I want to vent our plasma exhaust as we're making that arc to release a smoke screen that will hinder weapons lock.
All right.
But it means that the Europa is going to have to actively swoop us up.
Right. Okay.
I think Custer is going to call up to the bridge, and he's just going to say, "I'm not sure what that thing did to our. We got hit by a plasma torpedo. That thing's going to cause further cascading damage, whether we get hit or not. I need as much damage control crews as we can get."
Damage control to engineering.
All right. Damage control teams are that way.
The SSH is going to show up in engineering.
Okay. So, top of the next round, players get to go. Europa takes damage on my turn. So Europa is moving into position to get the swoop up. There's a vent of plasma in front of you, which is highly volatile. You can go through it, but you don't want to fire phasers through it. If you want to take another shot with torpedoes, you can, but you do not want to fire torpedoes through, or you do not want to fire phasers through plasma.
Can the Europa take evasive action?
Sure.
Evasive maneuvers?
Yep.
Okay. The difficulty is 2, but it's increased by 1. Rolling with Silva.
Okay. Difficulty. So you got 3 that should succeed. So yes, you take some evasive maneuvers, which makes the difficulty higher for the
to get hit.
Hit. Yep. For me to hit.
Does the ship assist with that?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the ship too. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
All right.
So
that's what.
So we'll put that towards momentum. Yeah. So evasive maneuvers, and we'll, assuming we make it to the rendezvous point as part of those maneuvers, scoop up the shuttle.
Yep. I'm gonna have you guys each do a roll for that. Both pilots do a roll for that. But before that happens, the Romulan Warbird will fire torpedo again, and you take the 8 damage from the previous round. So take another breach, which I assume just goes to engine at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that is now you've taken an additional 8 damage to the strain of the ship. You guys took 6 before, right? Is someone keep track of that?
I'm keeping track of the breaches. We have no shields, so there's no strain to.
Oh, right.
take.
That's right. Yeah. It's just boom. All right, so you got the second breach on the engines, which I imagine makes the engines more difficult to use.
Not yet.
No.
One more, and they'll become disabled. So,
I got you. We need to make a large combined roll. So this is an unusual thing that doesn't really happen in Star Trek. What we're going to do is we're going to have both pilots roll, and your grand total needs to be 6 successes between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an extended task, but that's fine.
Essentially, it's an extended task, but it's done in a single roll. So,
fair enough.
With the pilots, can they get assistance?
Yes.
Silva
Elizabeth can assist, and so can, one person from each ship can assist.
Silva will open the comm channel to Jisa and say, "You ready for a hard landing, girl?"
Oh, I'm ready. We're going to be coming in hot.
Perfect.
Make that roll. A lot of dice rolling in this session.
All right, so
the captain or the acting captain can assist with the command,
mm-hmm.
If you'd like.
Yes. Yes.
All right. One success there. The ship will also assist in both cases. I will roll for Europa. Go ahead.
Would you call this maneuver a fighter craft maneuver?
Yes.
Sure. It's an emergency.
It's a stretch.
It's an emergency recovery roll. Emergency recovery. It's either fighter or shuttlecraft, either way. But this is how fighters are recovered in emergencies.
Yeah.
What is there's an additional complication, right, Brian? For the threat, right?
There is. Yeah, I forgot about that. But
so the difficulty is actually 1 higher, and there's a complication range. So the difficulty is actually 7 plus the complication range of 1, right? So
yeah. Although none of the dice we've rolled so far have hit that.
I just want to make sure I set the dice up for the ship correctly.
Right now we're at 8,
and that doesn't help at all. So
we have.
Yeah. So what are we at?
From what we have rolled so far,
are all these rolls here the new rolls?
The
ones 10, 17?
We got 3 successes. Yeah.
Okay. So
where?
3. Okay, I see it. So Brian's roll is the control con, the 2 ones, right? And then Kendall has the 1 for the assist. So the Europa has 3. That leaves 4 for Jisa.
Okay.
You don't have the added complication range. You just have the difficulty of 4.
Okay. Does me creating this smoke screen put me at any disadvantage?
No, it was an advantage to. It's a disadvantage to the other ship. It doesn't do anything for you.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Fighter crafts, complication range 2. I have focus. I'm going to spend a momentum to roll 3 dice.
Might want to spend more momentum.
Yeah, I might want to spend more than that.
Yeah, you don't have any additional complication range on your end.
Okay, I'll spend another 2.
So you're spending how many?
3 momentum total for 2 dice. Right. Total of 4 dice.
And is there a way we can assist her?
Elizabeth can assist. Pretty much Elizabeth can assist because the rest of you are being treated, and there's only 2 spots on the ship. So,
and the shuttle roll.
The shuttle will roll as well.
Okay.
Can I assist with engineering?
Yeah. Titling some, like throttling some the stuff and whatnot. Sure.
Okay.
Do what you can. We're gonna need it.
And this is gonna be engines and con. Shuttlecraft rolls 1.
No, we're not making it.
Oh no! Boy, this is our new favorite shuttle.
Right. 1, 2, 3 with a complication.
But I think that puts us at 6 out of 6, 7. You need 6 out of 7 successes.
6 out of 7. So
yeah,
we'll succeed at a cost. The shuttle comes flying into the bay. You also have a complication there, I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The shuttle comes bouncing into the bay and just careens into the floor hard, sliding. There's no stopping the shuttlecraft. It is just sliding forward and slams hard into the main hangar deck, and the back wall of the hangar, just sparks flying everywhere. Anyone in that control booth is no longer in that control booth. They are most assuredly not there anymore. The shuttle
Ambrose is going to throw himself over to Shuri.
Everyone is thrown forward, and the shuttlecraft catches on fire. The emergency shuttle bays fire suppression systems come online. I just flood the whole bay with this fire suppressant. I'm going to say that everyone in the ship takes some crash damage. Let's say 3d6. Roll
Sure.
3d6. So that counts as zeros. They're all zeros. Oh no, what's one? Everybody takes one stress because that's a crappy roll.
I thought I was going to get out of this mission unscathed.
And our stress reset from the previous scene. So
yes, so you guys just take the stresses. You're not taking any major injuries. So with that, the shuttle comes to a rest. It is the shuttlecraft Jove is basically trashed at this point.
our new favorite.
Yeah, your new favorite shuttlecraft is now trash. So the shuttlecraft is back aboard. You get confirmation from the deck. Not even from the deck. You get confirmation from Europa, from Eva, that there have been 4 crew members lost. However, the shuttle is back aboard.
I'm sure we've lost more than 4 crew members with the damage we've taken.
There were 4 lost from the shuttle recovering, from the shuttle recovery. Probably lost more than that in total, but Europa, Eva says she's beginning automatic damage control and implementing shields to repressurize the bay. With that, though, the Romulans are going to fire on Europa again. It is my turn still. And I will go back to my other screen.
Never mind.
1, 2, and 3. I will spend 3 threat to use up, or to give myself 4 dice. Roll 4d20. And the difficulty for me is like 5, or 4. Difficulty is 4. Well, that counts as 2.
Should be 3, right? Or 4.
It's 4. I would the 1 counts as 2, the 7 and the 5 count.
Okay.
I would still do the math. So they do hit. And they fire the plasma torpedo again.
So it's difficulty 2 to hit, plus 1 from the nebula, plus another 1 from my smoke screen.
Correct.
And they hit 4 and meets it, beats it.
Right.
Gotcha.
/roll.
I tried.
6. Here they come again. That counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage to the Europa.
Okay.
Which is another breach.
Breach. Do you want to roll for this one?
I sure will.
Roll 1d20.
Hope it's not a 4. It's a 10.
10. That hits our structure.
Oh, nice.
So
That's bad. So you take a breach to the structure. What are you guys doing now? It is your turn. You have 1 momentum to your name. There are 2 disabled warbirds. 1 warbird that is, 2 essentially disabled warbirds. 1 warbird that is pursuing but damaged.
I think we should get out of here.
Would love to cut to the engine room to try to stop the plasma torpedo for destroying us first.
Does that happen every turn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and do that. I was thinking it was only lasted for 1 additional turn.
Let me double check. I think it happens 8 rounds.
I don't have the stats for the ship in front of me. It's on page 89 is what the warbirds are.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they're persistent 8.
They diminish 1 per turn, though, right?
Yeah. So.
Either way, we'll go with that. We'll say that for now, since you're going to try to put it out anyway. Try to extinguish that plasma torpedo.
Oh, it has to do with the amount of die that they originally rolled. It starts from that.
Okay. Well, that's 8. So
the effect die. Sorry. So that's how many rounds it lasts.
Okay. I don't remember how many effects there were, but we'll say 3.
Yeah, it. Seems about right. Yeah.
And
so
this one has 1, 2, 2. So you had 3 for the last one and 2 for this one. So go ahead and try to get that first one out.
So with the extra crew that's been sent down, I believe that the SSH was amongst them.
Yep.
Plus, I also think Vacation would have been drafted too. What was his name?
Amathi.
Yeah. The engine room is all blurry as Costras, all hands on deck. He looks to the two of you. All right, we're going to need to flush. We're going to need to flush that plasma from our system, or else it's just going to burn the ship to the ground. Or it's just going to burn the ship to the ground. We're going to do a full energy purge. You over to that console. You over to that console. Let's do this.
All right. Go ahead and make that roll.
Are we rolling?
Who's assisting, I guess, is the question. Because you only get 1 assistant, right?
As many people can assist as makes sense.
That's fair. So Coaster, go ahead and make your primary roll. Amathi and the SSH can make the secondary rolls. You're rolling control and engineering pretty much for everybody, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or daring. Daring is the default for repair rolls.
Okay. I would take either control or daring.
Okay. So am I rolling 1 or 2?
You're rolling 1. You are rolling 1. Jack is rolling 1. Brian is rolling 2. And the ship is also assisting.
I also have jury rig. Whenever I attempt an engineering task to perform repairs, I can reduce the difficulty by 2 to a minimum of 0. However, they are temporary. You know what? I think that wouldn't help us that much. So we'll just do permanent. How much momentum do we have?
1.
I'll spend that.
All right. Europa does not help.
Nice.
5 successes.
All right. Difficulty would be what, 3? Or I think 3. I think difficulty was 3 on that one. So
I don't know specific rules for this. So
yeah, I would assume that it's the normal difficulty plus 1 for each additional round after that would go. So that's kind of my logic there. So 3, you got enough. So it's out, and you gained what, 2 momentum?
Perfect.
All right, let's put the momentum over here so we actually can use them. Right
so maybe like the entire ship turns dark for a second as like the green pulsing energy is just shunted out into space.
Yeah, you flush a bunch of energy through, a bunch of plasma and whatnot through, and it or inert plasma, and it vents out the nacelle. Huge amount of additional plasma and whatnot out the cell that's somewhat fiery. And then the engines, the power comes back online. The emergency power was still intact, but the main systems come back online. Ambrose and company are getting out of the shuttle. I assume you see that the whole ship goes as you're getting out, the whole ship rocks hard as you're hit by a plasma torpedo. The one that hit structure, and then the lights all dim down for a couple seconds, and then come back up. That's why Eva couldn't help. She was getting powered down.
Yeah, so Ambrose is going to kick out the emergency hatch on the shuttle and just start waving people through. Go, get out of here. Get out of here. Tong, get down to engineering. We need to get this ship squared away. Mills, escort everybody else to med bay. Everyone's heavily injured. I'm getting back to the bridge.
Toshiri's
Look
like,
over Toshiri.
Toshiri looks at Mills as I'll help Mills to the sick bay because she can't
Very
really
good.
walk. So, all right, they're heading that way. Toshiri is.
I'm gonna put a hand on Toshiri's shoulder and just give it a squeeze as we part.
She doesn't look back, but you get the sensation, the empathical sensation that it is somewhat comforting, but that she's determined and is not looking back. So she is helping get Tana, Yezebeth, and Mills all to sick bay. And then you're headed to the bridge, but the bridge gets one more thing to do before the captain shows up. Anybody, what do you want to do there, Commander Brooks? You've taken some damage to the structure. Your engines have been pretty badly damaged. The fire is out on the one engine, but your ship is literally burning to the ground. There's a Romulan Warbird behind you that's pursuing. You have a pretty long way to go before you get out, but you could fire on them again. You could take evasive maneuvers. Lots of options here.
Can we warp away?
Not inside the nebula. You can warp inside the nebula. It may turn out poorly. The complication rate should be higher, and you could ignite the nebula.
Okay. For what it's worth, the impact is worn off by now. So we're not suffering the additional penalty on engineering rolls.
Yeah, okay.
Can we make evasive maneuvers toward the entrance or exit of the nebula?
Yes. Just depends on which direction you want to go. If you want to go towards the bottom of the screen, it's closer and you have the buoys. Also, that's heading towards Klingon space. That's probably the way to go. And you have much farther to go the other direction. So, yep, that works.
So, to keep them from coming at us, would it be advisable to set off the remaining buoys on our way out?
Once they're within range of the buoy, yes, but you don't want to do it before that because they won't do any good.
Okay.
So you're going to make an evasive maneuver, and I assume you want to return fire. Because you don't have to be facing to do it. The ship can shoot from any angle.
Yes.
All right. So go ahead and give that command. Go ahead and make the roll, and then both Silva can make a roll, and so can actually
Evasive maneuvers, return fire.
I'm not going to make you roll both of those, Brian. I'm just going to assume Silva makes it.
Okay.
And then Coaster can make the roll.
Sounds like a plan. Koba is going. Yeah, he's going to. Fire phasers.
You can.
Can we hold on? Is that you said that little gas cloud was flammable, right? If it got hit, would we be able to use that?
The plasma cloud, yes, and it is inside the plasma cloud now. So
perfect. Would we be able to use that to give our phasers a boost there?
Sure. They would do. The phasers themselves would. You just shoot that, and that would do damage itself. It would do a lot of damage, actually.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll also pump. I don't know. Yes, I would like to also pump power into it to do extra damage.
Sure.
So I'll pump 2 power into it,
which adds 2 additional damage dice, right?
2 damage die.
Yep.
So, I'll
the ship.
Spend the momentum there. So 4.
That hits with 1 momentum.
Yep.
And then the damage is going to be 10d6.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, 10 because that includes your +2.
Are you including the security in that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the damage. That is the damage the cloud does.
Okay.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. And it has no way to get around that.
There was one more because of the cloud. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I rolled the wrong die. Just the one there.
Okay. So it takes 2 breaches, which I believe that's 4 total breaches. That destroys it, right?
Disables it. Yeah, disables it.
Right.
If it takes half scale, it's disabled. If it takes full scale, it's destroyed.
Okay. All right, so it is disabled. Oh, hang on. Oh, good Lord.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Gazoon tight.
So that ship is disabled. The other two are, well, they were disabled. They're becoming less disabled now, but you are heading into the sensor range of the new thing. You guys basically, the captain gets up on the bridge. You guys are basically out of here scot-free at this point. As soon as you get into the range of the buoy, the other two warbirds are beginning to head that direction. They would be susceptible to the buoy again, to the new buoy. As you reach the edge of the buoy itself, you guys can then go to warp whenever you're ready. Captain comes on the bridge. Brooks, you are still in command until otherwise. If you want to give the command to escape, you can.
Just gonna give the command to warp.
All right. Give me one more roll from Kosher to see if you can put up the. You'll take another 8 to the hull, and then you guys can put it out. Which I'm not going to make you roll, but go ahead and take one more breach to the hull, to the structure. I don't believe that adds any complications to the situation, though.
No.
As the captain gets on the bridge, the ship goes to warp, and you guys are escaped with essentially disabling 3 warbirds. But you're back on the bridge, and we are out of combat.
I love when a plan comes together.
Yeah. Love it.
So,
She looked over. Captain on the bridge.
Thank you, Commander. I see you kept my ship in mostly one piece. Very good. We're on a course towards Klingon space.
yes.
All right, Mills, best possible warp factor. We want to get there. We want to get out of Romulan space as quickly as possible. Bridge to Medbay. If you have not received them yet, we have a number of patients incoming from our away mission on top of any casualties currently inbound. You know what to do.
You get an acknowledgement back from the doctor. All right.
Tana's not with us because she's on fire in the med bay.
Yes, everyone is in med bay, basically.
Everybody is in med bay. Ensign Lackey, get on long range sensors. I want to know who's chasing behind us and if we have any reinforcements coming ahead of us.
You will do that. Is there any immediate?
At the very immediate, there is not. However, as you watch a little bit after that, the 2 warbirds have left that sector and are in pursuit, and super long range sensors, you can detect that there is a sizable number of ships that are coming this way as well. They're coming from a slightly different angle. It's probably the ones that the 2 scout ships that left went in.
Oh, it's not Mendek?
Probably not Mendek at the moment. It might be, hard to say. But you are headed towards the Klingon space. You don't see anybody on that side of the sector, but that doesn't mean they're not there. So, cloaking devices.
Mm-hmm.
Permission to go to maximum warp, Captain.
Of course.
So we will head to 9.9992.
It's 9.8 is what the ship can do.
Nice.
But
Numbers.
it's fast. It's very fast.
Yeah.
It is probably faster than most of the Romulan ships, although probably not the big ones. But they're only a group is only as fast as its slowest ship, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys are headed back. Do you want to do any additional scenes tonight, or do we want to call it a night?
Seems like a good place to go out.
I didn't know if Jack wanted to do a final scene with Toshari in the sick bay or anything else like that, but
that'd be cute.
I do have a end of the season scene with them as well, but so that we can wait on that if we want to.
Yeah, I think it depends if we're going to do another session before we wrap up the season.
We do have one more session for sure, regardless of what else happens, and it may be a mostly cleanup session. So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do that during our recovery session.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and leave it there then.
Go
ahead, Joe.
okay. No, I was just going to say, Ambrose, as much as he wants to go check on Toshiri, his place is on the bridge,
Right.
as while there's still a crisis happening.
Yeah.
So he would remain on the bridge until we are outside of, red alert crisis zone.
All right.
And that
I
don't
like
know if
leaving
you
it here anyways because it gives Evelyn a chance to come back for next week. So
Sure.
So let's go ahead and
And
leave it
it's not
there. What's that?
He's not feeling her through the connection just to make sure that she's okay the entire time.
Right. Just mind fondling her the entire time. So with that, let's go ahead and
No, not that word. No.
let's go ahead and say what moment stands out most to you guys
It's a nice cerebellum you got, girl.
what moment stands out most to you guys this evening?
Well, we had a lot of good moments. I could name a lot of things.
It was a very combat heavy session.
I liked Yezebeth blowing up the wall.
I did like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably my favorite moment.
It's just like in session 1 where she ended up frying her own hands when trying to.
A couple of times. You did that in a couple of different episodes.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Elizabeth is very good at disabling herself along with everybody else.
She probably should not deal with plasma systems very often. In fact, I think it'd be fun if you got plasma systems as a as a focus.
I might.
Plasma demolitions.
I think this is a very good reason for her to start.
You should look into it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want to be burnt by this shit anymore.
Anybody else have a moment that stands out most to them?
I really liked, I think this was associated with that scene, but I really liked Yezbeth challenging the value seen but not heard.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good
use of the challenge.
A really good use of the challenge. And I think this whole episode, this whole mission really was like a kind of mini arc of Yezbeth's progression, where it really was Yezbeth, in my opinion, and Ambrose's opinion, situating herself in this mission, being confident in it, briefly losing herself to old soldier boy habits, and then focusing and being like, no, this is me. I'm showing what I am capable of doing. People are going to know I've been here. I'm good enough to do this. That's what I took out of it, and I think it was great.
Nice.
Thank you. That's what I'm going for, basically.
Awesome.
Kendall, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Kendall
I did.
All right.
I thought I did.
Yeah,
she blew up a wall.
Yeah, I was thinking that was. Sorry, I lose track of people. So
I like the ship shuttle docking sequence. I love space. I love space.
I love a good emergency vessel recovery.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It's a small thing. I loved a lot in there, but I really liked. That was a nice scene. I really liked being able to do that, and I liked Jissa and her and Silva talking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be able to build on in the future.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of direct role play in the session. Unfortunately, I think some of that would have been between Mills and Ambrose, but we missed some of that. But there was still a lot going on. So, what did you see from another character or player that you want to see more of in the future? For example, I liked, as Jack was discussing, seeing Yezebeth's growth in this episode. I think having that mini arc, I think, was really good, and that kind of thing is something that I really like to see. So,
I really liked seeing Arani being dictated by his passions and not like just doing the safe or the by the book stuff. I really like seeing him get to cut loose.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else?
I'll add another one. I also really liked Tana bringing out the snark in the mission. I love that.
I would like to see more of Tana's militant side, not militant side, but the
resistance fighter side.
Resistance fighter side. I think I'd like to see that explored a little bit more. I think we had. Go ahead.
She was more espionage than she was direct soldier.
Sure. That's something that I think could be fun to get into, though. I think that could be a fun exploration. We've touched on it a couple times, and I think that'd be interesting.
I like what we got with this session. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I also think that could be a good, if she's primarily more of an espionage side, that could be a fun thing for her to connect with other characters like Silva with.
Mm-hmm.
She's just not open about it. She
Right.
likes to play up the fact that people think every resistance fighter's a soldier.
Right. Cool. Jack, do you have anything for that one?
I just want to see more of Brooks in charge of the ship. I'm looking forward to going back on everything Ambrose ever said and leaving the the EXO in the bridge seat while he goes and kicks people in the back of the head.
Man.
Yeah, I'm having fun with her really learning how to be a command officer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure if I expressed that enough, but she was kind of struggling up there.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure if it was her or you that was struggling.
It
But
was
either
both.
way, it came off very well as the character was struggling to be in command, which is it doesn't look that hard to do until you do it. You know, you watch the people play the captain and then you do it, and it's like, oh wow, that's way harder than I thought it was.
Mhm.
I also felt like I saw why she was the commander. Like I did get a sense of authority from her.
Yeah. What were we gonna say, Kendall?
Yeah, she was more or less pushed into this kind of position.
Right.
So that's probably part of why she plays a little passively.
Sure. I get that.
Well, she's also, she's a counselor, so she's not even the command track. It's just she's the counselor. And now here she is in command of a starship. And
during a major offensive against 3 brand new warbirds.
Right. Yeah. You're in a situation that is definitely not standard first mission kind of stuff. So I liked it. I thought it came out really well.
Yeah.
She stepped up and she made good decisions.
Yeah.
Like I think she's a good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
I absolutely agree. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked that any of my characters that had any level of authority in anything they did were off of the ship. So when it flashed back to Europa, I could just hang out and make faces.
Yeah. All right. If you could change one thing about the session, what would it be other than Evelyn being here? Because that's a cheap one.
Could have used one less Romulan encounter.
Yeah.
I had so much fun beating the crap out of those Romulans.
Yeah. I thought about doing another one on top of that, and I think
we hit the sweet spot.
I'm glad I missed the one, the last one, because I think one more would have been way too many.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had fun.
They did kind of all start to feel the same, which is unfortunately one of the problems I have with Star Trek's combat. It's difficult because they're so fast. Especially when you have the area effect is so good.
And Ambrose was built as a soldier. He is a combat character. I've focused him a bit more onto the diplomacy side since he transitioned into command, but his core is still combat. So if he's in his element, that's going to make these fights a lot more on our favor.
Sure. It is a typical that session to me was fairly typical of a normal start combat.
I really enjoyed it.
It was fun. I had fun with it, but
it really got to show Ambrose as the badass soldier that he is. He's a war hero, and we don't usually get to see that.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Brian?
Could have used a more important NPC mixed up in the combat.
Yeah, I thought about that too, and I had intended originally to have there be like a Romulan officer somewhere. I just wasn't really sure where to put them. I was going to put him in the last room, but by that point, I felt like the combat had already gone on long enough. So I ended up not doing him. I should have done it sooner. I should have had him come with that group that ambushed you from the side. But I didn't really figure out where to put him that made sense other than the sections that I took him out of intentionally because I thought combat was getting too much. So that's kind of where that was. But I don't disagree with you. Like having a character, having an NPC that was a little bit more tangible might have made the combat scenes a little bit more tense But I liked the combat. I thought the way we did the narration, the way I really liked the jumping out of the turbo lift. I liked that a lot. I thought it was good. I liked the initial attack, Ambrose trying to get them lured away so we could walk up behind him and knock them out. I liked everything about the combat here. I'm not even sure. I wouldn't say we had one too many Romulan encounters, but it was pretty close. It was like borderline.
I think we hit it right on the money. I think it was perfect. I had such a great Star Trek action movie playing out in my head throughout all of this.
You ran the combat beautifully. We've had issues with that in the past, but I thought you ran it great. Yeah. I had no problem with the combat.
You found a good balance between it and the narrative.
Yeah, it didn't. Well, I will say that Starship combat is the worst of the two combats when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I tried to keep it narrative there. The normal combat in Star Trek, we ran it pretty much the way it works. Like when I was describing that there's an extra move in there for that hallway, that's, if you look at the way they build their maps and stuff, they're in zones. So you had a 2-zone difference. And that's pretty much how the tactical maps work in this game. We did delve into a little bit more of what the combat actually in Star Trek is supposed to be. And it does fit narrative well. I
think you did the space combat well too. I mean, like that's the way it's supposed to be run.
Yeah.
You didn't like skip any rules. We didn't pay too much attention to turn order, but that's other than that.
Yeah, I let narrative dictate turn order, and I did. I generally speaking was just kind of, movement didn't matter much. Like we're going to move you where we need to move you, and it's X number of rounds. It's how it's going to be, which isn't too bad. So
you did good. You did great. I'm praising you. That was exactly what I was. I've talked before about how I like to see space combat, and that was exactly the kind of thing I was looking for.
Gotcha. Well, that's good.
I would say, I think if you wanted to throw an important adversary character in there, at least from a roleplay perspective, I think it would have been interesting if there was some like communication, taunting, kind of Khan Kirk style back and forth between some Romulan commander and Brooks while she was in charge of the ship. I think that would have been a cool place to put an interesting NPC, because when you throw interesting NPCs into person to person combat, we have the problem which we ran into with Marjad, which was his name, Marjad. Where you have two really powerful combat oriented characters, and it gets real swingy real quick, and either one person ends up dead immediately or it just plows on. It just drags because. So I think it went really well. If you wanted to throw another character in, I think having some bridge scenes would be cool.
Yeah, there is a commander on the starship. You guys already talked to her, or
I
think the name came
up.
But she was on the ship you guys were on, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to make it too obvious that you guys could go and take her out.
Yeah.
But she'll come up in the next session when we have some more of that.
Commander Aren, I believe, of the Talpriex.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren. I have it all right here in my acts, but I have to go through and figure out where it's at. So that was a 5-act show that we are 1 act away from finishing.
Perfect. Would love some season epilogue to wrap up our characters.
Yeah. So the next session will probably be some tense standoff with the Romulan ships that are pursuing you. I've got that all figured out. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see what you guys do. And then season wind down. I think that'll be our last episode for the season. I mean, it's not where I wanted to end the season, but I think given everything time-wise that we're working into, and Evelyn going on vacation, plus everyone being sick and everything else, it's just best to leave it there, and we'll just do more in season 2 than I originally planned to do, which is fine. We'll pick up season 2 whenever we get a chance to, or season 3, I mean, when we get a chance to. I haven't figured out when that'll be, but I'm not sure how long we'll be off, but we'll figure that out between next session and whatever. I don't have anything else to add. Does anybody else have anything you guys want to add to the conversation before we call it a night?
I really enjoyed it.
Tana's going to tell you that the toe tags were your lucky charm.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I going back to that question, one thing I would have changed would definitely have been more moments of role play and conversation. I know I was not on my witty banter game as much tonight as I think I normally am, because we had a month off from playing these characters or whatnot. I'd been building to, the Luke rescuing Leia moments and the witty banter there, and different conversations with the away team and whatnot that we just didn't do because
and I think
I was so far removed from the characters and the position. I had all the tactical in my head, and I had all the backstory. I just after so long, it would.
Some of that is just the long term that it took us. That's why I didn't bring it up, because I felt the same way. There should have been more RP in the session than there was, which is not. I'm not faulting anybody for it. We had a long break between, and we're missing one of our key players. Mm-hmm. We only have 4 players. They're all key players. It definitely hurt the opportunities in the session, but that's all right. I thought it was pretty good. There was a little bit of banter between you and Toshiri there.
We also got plenty of stuff to fuel RP after this. There's a lot of stuff that happened that we can build off of.
Yeah.
Tana's probably going to want to bond over being crispy together.
Yeah. There's a lot of room for discussion going forward. So it's not midnight with the ship.
It's an hour to
I have this, I know you guys probably can't see it, but this thing here, this glowy thing, you can't see it. Anyway, it tells the time. It's like old Nex tubes. It tells time, but it's off by an hour apparently. So anyway, with that said, I don't have anything else. We've discussed everything. Unless you guys have one more thing you want to add, I think we can go ahead and call it a night.
No, it was a good session. I enjoyed myself.
That's good.
All right. So if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to go back and listen to all the previous episodes that are available on Podbean or anywhere fine podcasts are given away for absolutely free. You can also catch the edited episodes on YouTube. We don't edit a lot. I just edit for time mostly, and the intros and outros and all that stuff. But they'll be up there. You can also support us on Patreon, get the full live episode experience. Obviously in Rewind. By joining the Patreon, you get a link to that, as well as all the other content, back content that I've done for Studio Tembo, stuff like the Quest RPG podcast, Geek Feed podcast that I did for years. There's a wrestling podcast on there called Dark Match Podcast. I haven't done that show in probably 8 years, but it's on there if you want to find it. It's all there, as well as a lot of the content that we use here on the show, like the Europa show Bible is on there, as is the crew sheet that we use, which is a spreadsheet that has all the information for the ship and all the character stats on it that needs to be updated. I think people are behind on updating that. But there it is. You can also follow me all the places at Studio Tembo. It's STUDIOTEMBO. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. All the places. I was on Mastodon, and I was on a couple other social media ones that I just can't keep up with, so I don't. But there you go. Also, be free. Always be sure to check out Jack's channel at Not the People's Cinch anymore. What is it now?
RPGs Uncovered.
RPGs Uncovered. Also, go check out St. Pete by Night. A great show, which you can see Kendall over there is more for more of. Don't find Brian; he hates it. So, on that note, let's go ahead and call it a night. So long, and thanks for all the fish.